with two of our principal cast members,
Yeah.
Sterling and also Jocelyn. Welcome.
Hey, what's up? Okay, you can just set it down then, my dear, 'cause I have to.
That is a very large mic.
It is a very large mic.
Wow.
It's
Oh.
also off.
It's also off.
It's green. Oh, it was on mute. Can you hear me now? Check.
She's a professional mic person. She would know.
Well,
I pretend that I'm a professional mic person.
we're here debuting the premiere of all 6 episodes, Sterling, right? Of our new series,
Yeah.
UpStart.
Absolutely. You guys
And-
talk without me. I can only do one thing, and posting is not my strong suit.
Sterling is doing social media right now. He's attempting to do some
I'm
social
attempting,
media
yes.
right now.
So, what do you think, Jocelyn? This is supposed to be a new music-driven comedy from Mint Potion Studios, which is where we are now. What do you think of the show?
I think the show is super fun. It's different, it's creative, and it gives people just a different view on ways you can record and ways you can be absolutely ridiculous and fun and work with each other.
So, how did the music feel to you when you finally saw the edit of the show?
It felt good. It kind of brought everything together, and it had taken me. I thought about all the work I had done on the project, and I couldn't quite envision how it was going to turn out. And once I saw it all edited together with the music, it was fantastic.
Oh, yeah, cool. I showed it to a few of my friends, and I was excited that one person, shout out to Omar, said that his favorite parts were the music, and also, I guess I won't give it away. I'll just say the supernatural element.
Supernatural. Got to watch out for that.
Let's see. Is there, I guess, in the edit of the show, is there a part that turned out better than you expected? Just from acting it and sort of believing it on set to actually seeing it? How was that process for you?
I'd actually say most of it to a certain degree, because since it was 99% improv, you just never know what you're going to get and what's going to happen between the characters.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really fantastic having that freedom to do that. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I went and saw Bruno Mars last night. Woo.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Bruno. Super fun. So, yeah. I'm tired. I forgot the question.
Oh,
I think I answered it.
Well, listen, I'm excited that anyone has seen our final edit of the show. We're gonna be able to run all the episodes today because this is our premiere party. It's also our wrap party. Sterling, our showrunner, has been really just such a visionary about this project, and Ben has been absolutely crucial in getting it finished.
That's right.
Sterling,
Go
how do you
Sterling, go Ben. They're still working on stuff right now, actually.
Right.
Just walking in circles and bending on the floor to
Pretend
hook
like
up
we're doing
chords.
something.
Sterling, how do you feel to have the show actually edited, in the can, color corrected, sound effects, all that?
Excuse me. I'm eating.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Oh my God, you are such a prima donna.
Rude. Okay. What was the question again?
How do you feel to have the show UpStart in the can?
Oh, are you kidding me? This is awesome. This is ridiculously great. We started with this crazy idea to mix Meisner and UCB improv together and see what we came up with. We wrote a show out of nothing. This is amazing. I'm so excited to see episode 1 at 10:20. What time is it now?
It's
you
only
can-
10:10.
You can type in there, Jocelyn, also to
10:09.
respond to all your fans that are already talking. Anyway, I got distracted.
Oh, no, that's totally cool. So, Ben, we have a first clip.
Oh, hold on. Here, Ben.
We have a first clip of the show.
Of the show. The first clip of the show.
We also have a first clip of JJ talking about, which is one of our primary
Oh, you don't
characters,
need it.
talking about how
Do your thing. You're doing great.
in the world of the story, this music studio is going to transform into more than that. And JJ as a character, his vision is really to take what his late uncle left to him, this music studio, and make it into a media mogul empire. Ben, do we have that clip ready? Oh.
It's not
Okay.
ready, not
We're
yet.
live. This is what happens when you're live. So, you were saying Meisner. For the ignorant people out there who are watching our live debut, what is Meisner?
They can all hear us, FYI. Just double check.
You can all hear me. Sweet. Thank you. All right,
I don't even think we need our.
oh, you're just fine. Sweet. You can just respond.
I was trying,
Okay.
but this keyboard is like so.
Let me see.
different,
Oh,
so
whoa, man. This is deep.
I know that's why I'm
Woo, hello.
Like, thankfully you're tall, Sterling.
And I can't get up. I sat down.
Do you need some help?
No, thank you. That would be rude.
He actually needed help. He's just pretending.
I am not going to get help on national television. All right. I mean, internet. All right. Let me sit down here.
Sure.
We'll get back to your questions in just a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay. Now, what were you saying?
Sterling, you're a theater guy.
I
For
am a
those
theater
of
guy.
those of you who don't know, there are a lot of people in the audience who might not know what Meisner is, who Meisner is,
Right,
how
right.
you use it when you're an actor.
Okay, so let's just brief thoughts on acting real quick, okay? There's a couple of styles, right? There's the method, like everyone remembers Stella. You know, that was Marlon Brando. That was like the 50s. It kind of came into vogue. Before that, it was like a kind of what the British were doing, a very proper standard. You hit a mark, you stood, you interpreted the words, and then every word had a certain meaning, so you put connotation or whatever, you broke it down. Meisner certainly uses some of those elements, that's important, but Meisner is about speaking the truth speaking your truth in an imaginary circumstance. That's the basic of it. Speaking to behavior, it's playing off of, it's like a dramatic improv. It's like I'm looking at Jocelyn, oh, you're smiling.
Oh, you're smiling.
So that's called repetition. That's a big part of Meisner. It just allows you to take in the person and speak to what they're doing, what they're giving you. So your acting is always alive. Now, I'm not a Meisner teacher, so that's probably not a great explanation, but that's kind of it in a nutshell.
So, I mean, just as a layman, I'm not really a trained actor. You know, I'm an attorney, but
You are.
what it looks to me like is that people who do Meisner listen well in the moment and react well in the moment. So there's a lot of like, you can have.
Fat today.
You're right. The camera adds
I feel
pounds,
fat.
but if you're doing Meisner, you could go back and forth saying "How are you?" like for 15 minutes, right? But with different inflection, like "How are
It's
you?"
not really different
How are
inflection.
you?
It's how the word lands on, how what they said lands on you. How does it make you feel? Meisner is about it's taking everything personally. It's
I
like
see.
whatever you say to me, it's like what? It's to the core. You hit me to the core with whatever you did. You know, you're looking at me right now like doe-eyed, and you know I see your innocence, and that's awesome, and it makes me want to just relax and be present here with you and talk. So I mean that's kind of Meisner is just about relating, and then you add on the words that the writer wrote, hopefully amazing words, and you get something really special. So it's
I
not
see.
like it shouldn't be the same every time. Of course, in film and TV, you have to hit marks and things like that. But there's a subtle aliveness, I think, in people that work with Meisner, use Meisner. You know, and again, it's not like just like when you build a desk, you don't just use like a saw. You know, it takes a lot of tools. When you're acting, you don't just use Meisner. It's a bunch of things. It's method. It's whatever the many things are out there you can do. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, but if Meisner isn't just, sort of using the same word and kind of reacting to it, that's how I kind of interpreted it. As, like if I said hello and you said hello and then
Right.
I said hello again and then you said hello, or if I started out by saying, oh, it's you, then you could respond, oh, it's you to me in what way?
I would say, oh, it's me.
Oh, it's still you. Ugh.
So you just change the pronoun.
Yeah.
So
You just make
it becomes like kind of like a call and response, back and forth,
yeah.
But you're saying
but you
that's a
can
very
change-
limited.
Yeah, but
Thought.
the word changes. Like a lot of us have studied with Fran Montano, and he's like, "How do you know when the word changes? You don't. It happens organically."
Okay, I'm
it's
gonna
about
verbally
organic.
respond to you guys
I see.
Just
until
being present right now,
Right.
rather than sticking to like, oh, when I walk in the door,
You gave me
I'm
that
gonna
earlier.
Turn my head like this and say,
I know.
"You
I
betrayed
see you.
me." I mean, maybe you'll do that, but maybe you'll.
I see
walk
that it
in
looks
and
good.
She's naked,
And that you can
and
hear
maybe
us. Who's naked?
whomever you're talking in this imaginary scene.
Maybe that'll
Someone's
be the next
naked.
episode of UpStart. All right, so if that's Meisner,
Yeah.
like, can you think of like your three favorite actors or favorite films or television projects where you see the Meisner technique in action?
No, because honestly, the best actors hide the work.
I see.
It's like even if you're doing just straight method Stanislavski, it should look like you just create that moment is just happening right now for you. So
Right.
it's kind of hard to. I mean, there are some things, but I'm not that good to really say like, oh, she's definitely being Meisner right now, or there are some things like you see someone like the way they inflect the words. It's like I'm telling you now. And not like that bad, but it's like that's where the inflection should have been, probably.
That was Oscar worthy.
You definitely got my attention, but I thought I was watching a late night movie on BET.
Wow.
Let's see. So if that's the Meisner technique,
Yes.
you both seem very like well educated in your acting process and skills. Like, what do you think if Meisner is part of the inspiration for how the work in UpStart got done? You also mentioned UCB, and for the sort of layman out there, what is UCB?
Now, UCB is the United Citizens Brigade. I always forget what the acronym is for. Honestly.
Upright.
Yeah, I mean,
Upright Citizens
I
Brigade,
studied
right?
there for sure. I'm not
Upright.
Upward.
Upright.
Upward.
Citizens
Upright.
Brigade. Shout out to UCB. That's a really good reason to be exhausted.
Thank you.
This is Jocelyn is our resident superwoman, and a fine actress and a great woman and a really cool person. So UCB, you train there, and you train there as well?
I do. I did.
Oh.
I am not.
Oh, awesome. So, talk about that contribution to your
UCB is
acting
like
process.
So Meisner is a school of dramatic acting, right? An arm of dramatic acting, right? UCB is an arm of comedic acting. It's a way to help actors find the humor in moments. What I love about UCB is there's a thing called finding the game in a scene. And if you watch any sitcom, Friends or whatever, it's like there's every scene is a game. Or I had never really watched what's that show with the soup Nazi guy and all that? What's that show?
Oh,
called?
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld, yeah, I never.
Oh, never?
No.
That show is a $1 billion industry.
Soup Nazi?
Yes, it's a character. The soup Nazi is a character in Seinfeld who makes it very difficult if you don't kiss his ass to get your soup.
And that's his game.
Right.
See? So that's the game. In UCB, you learn how to find the game in a scene. It's more improv, although there is sketch comedy. Now, I don't want to speak out of turn because I'm no expert, but you find the game in a scene and you play that, and then you let it rest, and then you play it some more, and then maybe you might find a new game within the scene. But it's about the game, and I like UCB because it's the first place that taught me game. Like I studied at Second City, and I love them. They're awesome. I never studied at Groundlings. I know a lot of people who've done great work, who do great work that are from there. I only really know UCB well, and I feel like it's the first place that taught me how to do comedy, really, because it was just resting and realizing what's going on, and that seemed like the comedic opposite of or companion, the comedic companion of Meisner. They seem like they go together to me.
I see.
They really are very similar. You got to be listening. You got to pay attention. Then you play to your in UCB they call it to your highest intelligence. So you're not like purposely dumbing yourself down or making an answer just for a joke. You're playing every moment to your highest intelligence. In Meisner, you're playing it as truthfully as you can and honestly. So they both resonate to me.
Wow, Sterling, that's really a master class. I'm not like a trained actor. I've only kind of heard about and sort of seen a bunch of people who've gone to Stella Adler, who've gone to Strasbourg.
Yeah, sure.
And it sort of seemed like very cliquish because the Strasbourg people would only hang out with Strasbourg people, and I don't know the philosophies of each of those schools, but this really.
I never hang out with Strasbourg people. Are you kidding me?
They'll steal your wallet.
That's nuts.
Let's see.
Really?
So, Jocelyn, you also have studied at UCB. And kind of what brought you there? What do you think you got out of it as opposed to the other improv schools?
We're getting ready to see our first thing soon, I think.
I think so. Ben, as soon as you're ready, we'll roll in the clip of just the show open so we can hear some of the great music that was composed originally for this hot new comedy series that will premiere live here today.
Yeah, enjoy.
Awesome. So, yeah, UCB. Was it free? Was it expensive? Was it time consuming?
No, it was not free. There are no free classes in LA that I know of, that I found. So it was definitely an experience. I learned a lot. It was more challenging for me than it was for Sterling. I kind of feel, for me, I felt a bit like caged in the sense that I had to follow these such specific rules.
Right.
And I think it's, like you said, you play at the top of your intelligence, and it's just super analytical for me, and my brain doesn't function in that way. So for me, I prefer to just like on the cuff or on the fly do whatever comes out of my body or my mind, which comes from the Meisner, I think.
Right.
And I think Meisner, it is a form of dramatic improv to a certain extent, but it also allows for comedic improv as well.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great.
Sorry.
Oh, sure. It's great that you kind of know yourself as an actor that way, to kind of know what your strengths and where your comfort level is, because I do know that UCB has, as you say, rules
His
like
feet is frozen.
Your feet is frozen.
you're not supposed to you're not supposed to, you know, for instance, you can't change the reality of the scene.
So like, can you type?
Wow, you can't type?
It's so like, I don't know, where's, oh, there it is.
Oh, gosh. I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Why?
Where am I? Oh, there, okay. Okay.
Thanks, T-Mad.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Who's that? Why? Oh, that's us.
Yeah, I think we're fine. It's
Oh,
just
good.
that person should maybe relive the browser or something, refresh the page.
Cool. All right. Refresh your browser.
Michael, refresh your browser.
All right.
Connect to the Wi-Fi
You
at
ready,
the
Ben?
airport.
Yeah.
Well, you want to? Here it is.
Yeah, this is going to be your
Introduce it.
first taste of the UpStart pilot, first episode.
Yeah,
This is going to be
episode 1.
just our show open. And Ben, you composed the music for this show open?
It's not just the show open.
We did the show open at the beginning.
Yeah, we already seen that.
Oh, we did?
Come on.
Oh, I wasn't
Taisha.
paying attention.
Man.
Taisha.
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 My name is Taisha.
Sorry, Taisha.
Okay, so we've already seen the show open, but we didn't talk about it then.
That's what we can talk after this. All
All right. So show open has been seen by our audience. Now we're going to go to our first mini episode.
Episode 1.
Sterling, do you want to set up for the people what is in that? What's in that episode?
Enjoy it. Let's go.
We'll be back.
I'm about to head to the studio right now. I'll holler at you then. All right, peace, man. Peace. Oh, girl, you ain't gotta pretend to be clean. Unc ain't here no more.
I'm pacing myself, motherfucker. What you doing around here anyway? Getting up at the crack of 11. Shouldn't you be talking to your bookie? About just getting a little bit more time.
Oh, she got so many jugs for a cleaning lady. Oh, I'm sorry, Queen. I'm all in the dirt. All in the debris. If you missed a couple spots. Look like you got some work to do, right?
I sure do.
I'm gonna go to my nice mobile office with air conditioning, and I'll see you later, all right?
Yeah, you will.
from Gardena, but like the 110 side, you can't tell chicks you from Compton. My uncle died. He left me the studio, man. You know, I played linebacker in college. I made like a practice team with the Raiders. My story is just like everybody else, man. I took the little bit of money I made from football, wasn't a lot, and I just tried new businesses, man. I was selling steaks. I was selling vacuums. I was selling fidget spinners before these shits got big. I should have kept selling fidget spinners, man. I didn't know. Look, I love my uncle, man. And I'm just, I'm just trying to put all that energy into this.
Oh,
Woohoo,
hi. We're back here at the
That was something.
UpStart
Hey, whoa,
premiere
what'd you think?
rap party.
Anybody? Anybody watching? Anybody out? Hello? Is there anybody in there? Anyway.
So what did you think of that first
I love that episode.
clip?
I
What-
love that. It's we meet the main character, right? JJ. I mean, what's not to love?
Yeah,
listening to you. Go ahead.
what's not to love? Do you think that JJ is a good guy or a bad guy or just a
I
fuck
think
up?
JJ's a good guy. He's chasing the American dream, you know? He just doesn't have the tools. He never acquired the tools, to hold the road that he's on. That's all.
Well, let's talk about as a character. What role was he hoeing? He was involved in sports at not the kind of like high level where you make a lot of money.
Practice squad for the Raiders for a year. That's as high as he got.
How much money does that pay?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Not
I'm
a
not
lot.
trying to mess with another man's money. I don't know.
But let's see. So JJ, in the world of the story, is a man who has an uncle. Talk to us about Unc, the character that you play.
Unc is the guy that created this studio that we're in, Mint Potion, right? Unc built this. It's kind of like the Motown of the Santa Clarita Valley. So he had some success, and he died and left the studio to JJ, who
Wow.
we just saw. JJ just was coming into the studio as the owner for the first time. And I don't know. I'm excited to see what's going to happen next for him, honestly.
Now, who's the little lady in the orange tank top that JJ encounters?
That is Queenie. Queenie is a long-time employee here at Mint Potion. And she and Unc were like ace boon coons, as we say.
Now, is an Ace Boon Coon a chase friend or a fuck buddy?
I don't know. I ain't trying to get up in her business. You have to ask her.
I see.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, secrets will be revealed. So JJ comes along into his new gift from his late uncle, Unc, and then.
I have all of this reviews ready to go.
Oh, great.
Which one do you want?
Yeah, throw some clips.
Let's
go to
see.
some clips, huh?
Yeah, let's go to some clips. Let's wait to hear JJ talk about music when we talk to you. But for this, let's see. Why don't we have Queenie talking about when she met Unc?
Queenie talked about when she met Unc.
Yeah, so our orange tank top lady is Queenie. She is now a cleaning lady in the UpStart studio. She's an old dear friend of Unc. You be the judge of what that relationship is all about. So we're going to have a few seconds till we see that clip of Queenie talking about.
Shake, what's going on with you? I thought they were crazy. But I got there, and there was this man. Lord have mercy. Ooh, he was beautiful. My mom always told me don't bring none home prettier than you, but this time I couldn't help it. And of course, in the back of my mind, even though I was acting like a lady, like I always do, in the back of my mind, I said, I'm going to climb that. That was between me and my God. Nobody judges me. But it was like he read my mind. He came down that bar. Oh, that swagger. It wasn't put on. It was real. He just had it. I think he got me pregnant from across the room. He could have if he wanted to. And he walked up, asked me my name, and said I needed to know who I was going to spend the rest of my life with. Man, that did it for me. That man knew how to charm a woman, and he did. I miss him.
That was nice.
Hey, so that was a pretty juicy story about how the character of Queenie met Unc on the UpStart show and in the history of those characters. But Sterling, can you tell us what it's like being a light-skinned brother like yourself?
It's awesome. All the women love me.
All the women?
And yeah, black, white, in between. Anyway, sorry, I can't talk to you.
We're both texting. You're talking.
Look, that's
guys
just
are
fine.
there.
Look, if you're helping promote the cause here,
I'm trying.
that's all to the good. So we have a lot of really talented actors that are part of the UpStart project. Candy Ford is one of them. I understand that Candy Ford is pictured on the wall at a certain famous comedy club. Which comedy club is that, Sterling?
Comedy Store.
Comedy Store, which is certainly one of the most seminal comedy destinations in America. Like, what kinds of comedians got their start at the Comedy Store?
Sorry, I'm not even talking to you.
I know, sir. Technical difficulties. It's our first time, first round.
What's going on with who's this person who can't chat? It seems like chat's working everywhere else.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Comedy Store. Who got their start there? Besides Candy Ford.
Who hasn't?
Who hasn't? So is it like Jim Carrey? Is it...
Richard Pryor, Jim Carrey. I don't know. I haven't followed comics in a while, but whoever you think is funny
Oh, yeah.
these days, they are at the they've been there or they're
These
going.
days and in the old days.
It's an institution. It's like Pink's hot dogs.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now,
They are amazing. Huh?
do you happen to know the
Great
show
chicken burrito there too.
I'm Dying Up Here? Is that based on the Comedy Store or a different comedy?
I don't know. Honestly, it looks like, it seems like
Because Richard
a Comedy
Pryor,
Store kind of place.
right? And wasn't there a woman who was
I think what's her name? Mitzi.
Mitzi?
It's not Mitzi Gaynor, I want to say. But
No,
it's
isn't
Pauly-
it? Is it
Mitzi
Pauly
Shore,
Shore's
Pauly
mom?
Shore's mother, right.
Oh yeah. So I think that I'm Dying Up Here, which was executive produced by Jim Carrey, was based on the Comedy Store. And I mean, I am embarrassed that I don't know that much about Candy Ford, sort of personally, her history as a comedian, but it was certainly thrilling to work with her on UpStart. I'm sorry she can't be here right now, but I think that this is a great project for kind of giving a window into really amazingly talented people who our audience and audiences in general may never have seen before, like Jocelyn, like Sterling, like myself, like Candy. Sterling, when you have a moment to think, could you talk to us about how you found all these great people to be a part of the UpStart show?
Sure. Do I need the mic? No.
You said
No.
we don't.
Okay, cool. Let's see.
Casting.
Casting.
How'd you do it?
He cast me first.
Oh, really? That's
I don't know,
news.
But you know what? I'm
Wait,
gonna
okay,
just
so
say-
Jocelyn, how do you know Sterling? How did you get cast on this
Sterling
show?
and I actually met at the Active Workout Studio, AWS, in North Hollywood. Graham Montano was our teacher, is one of our teachers still, and he is great at teaching the Meisner method. We both studied with him for a couple years, yeah, Sterling? So that's how we met. We stayed in touch. We still work together every so often. We go back to the studio and do some refreshers just to keep us in the game. And
Right.
it's so great. Meisner is just my absolute favorite of all techniques that I've ever studied. So.
That's brilliant. And did you, just as someone pursuing acting seriously enough to spend the cash at UCB and spend not only the time, but I'm sure there's some money involved in studying Meisner, how did you,
Martin.
how did you find what was your inspiration to kind of be part of a project like this? Were you looking for a comedy? Were you looking for an ensemble? What was it about UpStart that spoke to you besides knowing Sterling?
You're besides knowing Sterling. I love Sterling. He's so talented. I think he's really great to work with. I don't know. It was just such a great idea to have something where I didn't feel, like I said earlier, boxed in. I really had an opportunity to create a character from scratch and just do whatever I wanted with her. And I was excited to have that opportunity and to watch other people do that as well.
And when you created the character,
Jill.
you're Jocelyn. Your
I'm
character
Jocelyn,
is Jill Schaefer.
Jill Schaefer.
Like what were your inspirations? What were your ways into her? Was it the fact that she wants to be a camera person, of the fact that she's from Santa Clarita? She seems to have a little issue with, is it quite Tourette's or just a dirty mouth?
Maybe a little bit of both. She's super fun. She is like the Santa Clarita Valley girl, and she's very sheltered. She grew up in a sheltered home. Her parents are these like Malibu kind of like chill surfer people that thought it'd be better to raise her out in the valley. I don't know why. She should have just stayed out in Malibu and surfed forever. But yeah. So she has these ideas that she thinks are great. I don't want to ruin anything that's coming up in the show later, but I don't know. She's just fun and a little bit ridiculous, and I got some inspiration from Goldie Hawn for sure.
Amazing.
And I absolutely love Goldie Hawn. She cracks me up. I have 3 kids, and we actually watched the original Overboard. I haven't seen the new one. I'm dying to see it, but oh my God, they loved it. I love her. I just love watching her. She's so fantastic to watch. But yeah, Jill's fun. I don't want to ruin anything.
Well, besides your own character,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on all the other characters in the show? Like for the audience who's first tasting UpStart, this has been a year and a half of hard work with a whole bunch of people who, not all of them are here, but who's your number one, I guess, the character that you think your character Jill likes the most?
Oh, totally. Peter, played by Sonny Dominguez. Yeah,
He's supposed to be a writer on the show.
yeah, and we gelled for sure. Jill and Peter.
That's awesome. Like, there seemed to be some controversy about eating habits that that Jill and Peter.
Has that aired yet?
Not
So
yet. Not yet, but that's coming up. Is that episode 2 or 3 of UpStart?
Not 2. It's probably like 3 or 4.
Okay, so stay tuned for episode 3, where you'll see Jill and Peter and a couple of other folks from UpStart going at it over, shall we say, the morality of eating.
Or the ideas of what they think it might be.
Exactly. So, okay, so that's Peter,
Yes.
right? So who else is there in Team UpStart that your character Jill gels with, gets along with?
I would say she gets along with everyone other than Sarah's character. She's a bit more scared of her to a certain extent,
Right.
Because she's so like strong, and I think that Jill's a bit more reserved in a sense. So but
That's
otherwise,
beautiful.
Yeah, otherwise Jill's pretty like mellow, go with the flow, get along with anybody.
A team player.
A team player.
And I think that Sarah's character Sasha is a little bit more like take charge, wants to be the boss, even though JJ's already the boss. And then there's, some other people in the family.
Sasha's gonna be here in a little while.
Oh, good. Oh, yay. Sarah Bowie Tither is the actress. Tither is the actress that plays Sasha. So we're going to get to know her a little bit later. So there's other folks rounding out the kind of like new employees that come to UpStart to help out JJ. Talk about Max, for example.
Oh, he's super great. He went to high school with Jill's sister, which is kind of like, can't get into that any more than that either. But
Right.
it's actually really challenging to talk about the show when you haven't seen certain parts of it. Yeah, but I like Max. I like Drew as a human. He's a great person, super sweet, good guy.
I think that the idea was that Drew's character of Max comes from a family where they didn't want to spend all the cash to send him to film school. And, when you're in Hollywood and trying to figure out how to work, whether it's worth it to spend money to go to USC or to acting school. Is it better to do it in real life and get a job actually acting or being a grip or being a camera person, or should you spend that money to make connections? In the world of the show, Max's family says, hell no, go get a job. So that's precisely what Max does, along with Jill, along with Sasha, along with a host of other characters who come to Mint Potion and approach JJ for a job. That's really the spine of what happens in our first episode of UpStart. And then there's a couple of other characters we haven't talked about. One of them is, I believe, from the Ukraine. We're not sure. People are confused about whether she's from Mexico and spends in real life or in the show. Is it Ukraine, Romania? Well, I think.
See Romania. I think it's Romania.
I think it's Ukraine.
Okay, then it's Ukraine.
Okay. All right. So
We'll see when it gets there.
she
But
dresses
they're
in
probably
black.
right.
Her character dresses in black and seems to have a different opinion about ghosts and spirituality and the supernatural than
Right.
your character.
Yes,
So would you
definitely.
say that your characters are buddies, or there's a little more conflict between the two of you?
I wouldn't necessarily call them buddies, and the conflict would really come from the sense that they just don't have the same beliefs. But I think that, like I said, Jill is more open to letting her have her own beliefs
Mhm.
and just understanding that and going with the flow of that, whereas maybe not so much on the other end. I think Jill gets judged a lot. And this, for being the blonde.
One of two blondes. We have a blonde quorum on UpStart. You know.
Which is actually not that common anymore.
No, it really isn't.
Yeah.
And I just know from being on set, sometimes cinematographers feel like blonde hair and light coloring is a little too distracting to the eye. So unless you're a principal character, like the principal character, there seems, and again, this is just anecdotal, there seems to be a sort of prejudice against having a lot of blonde people. Like, you rarely see a cast that's more than one
Right.
blonde, a family of
It's
blondes.
very, very rare.
It's rare.
Especially a blonde with blue eyes. I mean, often, like, I'll see or get casting notices that are looking for, like, a blonde with brown eyes or a blonde that has a bit darker skin
Mhm.
or just not, like, too blonde.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So
in
I
another
get
sense,
it.
I see casting, calls that ask specifically for Asians that are blonde, which it seems like such a kind of like grab bag of, most Asian people don't have blonde hair naturally.
Right.
And then to insist that it's an Asian person with blonde hair seems like such a, spin the wheel of combining things that don't naturally go together. It's hard to meet those marks, right?
It is. It's very hard. It's hard being an actor. It is. You can only, in my opinion, you can really only do it if you're super passionate about it. Because, I mean, I've gone in, read for roles, and they've cast a man. So I just think, no, to a certain extent, no one really knows what they're looking for
Mhm.
until they find it,
Right.
until that person or that energy walks into the room. And it can be heartbreaking. I had a callback yesterday for this really cool virtual reality film, and it wasn't that the audition didn't go well, but I don't know. Sometimes I just leave the room and I feel like,
Right.
So
And for people who don't act and don't audition, who haven't studied, like what is that sort of trail to being cast usually like? Like for UpStart, Sterling
right,
from acting class.
right.
So that kind of allowed you to skip some steps. But if you were approaching UpStart like just a run-of-the-mill actor, what do you think could be the standard parts of that process? Like in terms of seeing the casting call,
Right.
submitting for it, callback one, callback. How many callbacks are
Okay,
there?
well, you basically just explained it all. But either, yes, I could self-submit online, or my manager or agent could submit me, and hopefully I would get called in for a first audition, and you would go in the room. Or they have these things now called self-tapes, which can be really frustrating because I feel like it's just nice to be in the room
Mhm.
with the people that you will be working with in the future. But I guess for them it weeds out a lot of people that maybe like the Asians who really aren't blonde, right? They come in and they have like dark hair, so maybe that it helps them with that. So you do that, and then you get a callback, a second audition if they like you or they're into, going in that direction.
And just, sidebar about the money. Is any of this submitting and callbacks, is any of this paid work?
No, none of that is paid.
And what does it cost you to have to do all this?
A lot, especially because I have kids. I have to pay for childcare.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have a baseline that I have to meet if I'm going to work on a project,
right?
Unless it's with somebody that I know. And a lot of the work has been through people that I've worked with before. So I know that I don't suck, people,
I think we all know that you don't suck. But, I think no one can have read or heard the news for the past year, 2 years, and not understand that there are other factors involved in casting besides being available and being talented and having the look.
Thank
you. For the layman who's thinking about acting, if you didn't have a manager and you didn't have an agent, what do you think are the legitimate ways into finding your way to a set, whether that's paid or not paid? If you could just talk about that world of, wow, I land in Hollywood, I want to get my feet wet. How do you do it? What do you have to spend?
All right, well, there are a couple of sites. I would recommend first, signing up on a couple of websites. First, LA Casting is a good one to get onto. You can submit for commercials, which is really great. Sometimes they have managers or agents on there that are looking for talent, so you can look through that. And there's another one called Actors Access, which is more like indies and short films, like small TV parts and things like that. So just doing something like that, getting you in the room with people, will create relationships. And when you're in the waiting room, waiting to go in, you can talk to another actor and be like, hey, what have you been doing? What are you working on? Kind of gets to know people, ask them, pick their brain.
And just in terms of the actor's tools, besides studying, besides keeping your hair and your makeup and your wardrobe together, there's this thing that people talk about.
By the way, this is air dried, and I think my hair is getting bigger by the moment.
Hey,
Look, big. Incredible. That's incredible. I hope everyone at home is super psyched to see episode 2 of UpStart.
Episode 2, we get to meet the nephew.
Oh, yes. JJ, the character who inherits this amazing music
Howie.
studio,
We get to meet Howie.
has a nephew, Howie, and family relations can be a little bit hard, right?
I don't know, but I'll tell you, this actor, Greg is amazing as JJ.
Mm-hmm.
But this actor, Edgar, that is Howie, one of my most favorite rising star actors in LA. You mark my words. This cat, he is on fire. I love this guy. I'm super excited.
How did you find him?
I took a class with him at UCB.
Really?
And was blown away.
UCB in the house.
Yeah, UCB and Actors Workout Studio all day. That's what we got right here.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, JJ is a character who is played by
JJ is played by Greg.
But
Howie is, excuse me, I'm talking eating. It's nervous eating. Howie is, I don't know, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just going to say, Greg actually came to the project because he's a stand-up comedian.
That's right, yeah.
And
he's not right.
He, has some, I guess, anthology series where
he has Thug Notes, right?
Right, Thug Notes,
yeah.
where he reviews different, the kind of standard books that you read when you're a high school student and a college student.
Right.
And it's really hilarious and really funny. But he was part of a comedy tour that played at the Silver Lake Lounge, sponsored by Humboldt Farms, I believe, which is a celebrated marijuana brand. Marijuana, shout out to marijuana growers. It's legal in California, Colorado, and a few other states.
Hey.
But
10:50, we're going to do this, right?
that's how we saw...
Just turned 50 on the dot.
Woo!
Said that.
Okay, we're ready for episode 2.
Love this.
DJ, please.
Come on in.
Who is it? Come on, Uncle. What's up, Uncle JJ?
What's going on, nephew?
Chilling.
Doing all right?
I'm doing good, man.
Doing good, man.
Thank you, man.
It's a
You know.
nice shirt. I see your nipples.
Oh, okay. I see your arms.
Hey, look, man. I haven't seen you since the funeral. I'm sorry about your pop. You know, the studio, business, all this, man. I'm sorry about it.
No. It's all good. Like I'm not tripping on it at all. You know what I mean? Like,
Good.
if I had to use a word to describe it, I would say like I was like surprised that you got it. You know what I mean? But like that's it. It was a surprise.
You know, is there like, you know, is there gonna be a problem with us? You know,
Uncle JJ.
look, man, you my nephew. I love
It's
you.
not gonna be no problem, man. I'm here to help you out, man.
All
right. You ain't have to try to get up on me. Try to get up on me, scary. What's going on?
Look, man. I just want to make sure, man. I ain't trying to scare you nothing. But I'm glad you're here because we're doing some interviews today. And, you know, I wanted to see if you'd be around.
Oh, interviews?
Yeah,
Today?
Yeah, today, like in 30 minutes, man.
What about the old crew?
They'll be here, but we just need more people. You know,
People
like,
for what?
Because look, we're trying to make this like, you know, media mogul empire, man. So I need runners. I need people, grips.
Like for video stuff?
Yeah, you know, we doing audio and stuff now, but I mean, we doing video, YouTube, Vimeo, cooking, twerk show. I'm trying to do everything, man.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
You said today?
Today, like in a half an hour.
I think that's my mom. I was gonna go do that thing with. I'm gonna go see my dad. I'm gonna go check out his grave.
All right. Cool. You been doing that much?
You know, I've been trying. You know, want to do this free.
When your dad is free?
Yeah, you know.
All right.
Hey, his schedule's wide open now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's dark, man. That's dark.
But no. Next time though, I'm gonna help you, Uncle.
All right. Cool,
Trust me on that.
Cool. Well, I guess I'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Well, have fun.
All right.
You know, drop some nice words off.
I'll let you know if the grave shakes.
yeah. Make sure you let them know that.
Yeah.
And bring your shoes. Bring some sneakers.
Oh, I will, man. I will. You gonna play them? You gonna play those?
Yeah.
What are those, Yeezys?
I call them fleazy.
All right. They from China?
Yeah,
Cheesies?
they actually.
All right.
But bring your sneakers and I'll see you when you get back.
All right.
All right, man.
I'll
Be
see you,
easy.
man.
All right. Get on out of here. Motherfucker.
So, JJ calls his nephew motherfucker under his breath at the end of that clip.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well, you know, that's how we do. I mean, really? This is UpStart. We're not playing in here.
Sterling, is that what you call a real moment? A moment that brings that realness from how family really is in real life?
I don't know. I don't really want to go into that one with that. In this family, this is how it works, yeah.
Right. Well,
every family is different.
Right. Anyone who watches daytime TV, Caso Cerrado and Jerry Springer, we know the conflict is real. So let's table our discussion of bad family dynamics for a second. Right. Jocelyn, I really want to finish up talking to you about the actor's toolkit. There's a lot of ads and a lot of ways to get suckered paying for headshots. Yeah. When you're starting out as an actor, maybe you're not booking speaking roles, maybe you are, auditioning and not getting booked. What kind of money can you expect to spend on headshots, and what's the right price point?
Oh, that's such a hard question to answer because, truly, you could probably find somebody to do it for free that's looking for a trade. Mm-hmm. I would say that's the most common thing when you're first starting out, is to find people who also are first starting out to a certain degree that they need work for their book and you need headshots. So I did a lot of that in the beginning when I first got out here because I couldn't afford to have headshots taken. They can go up to like over $1,000, it can be very, very expensive.
That's crazy. And the acting game is about, yes, your passion, and yes, you have to wait tables or drive Uber or do something to make a living. This is true as well.
Another way just to especially if you're brand new out here, you can be on set, you can, like I said, meet people, network, just talk. Is that how you and Sterling met? That is how we met. Yes, actually, outside the world of the story, where I am Taisha Johnson, Esquire, lawyer, I met Sterling
on the set of a pilot that Tina Fey was doing with Busy Phillips. We were both booked with our vehicles, and we didn't do much that day, but we sat and talked. Sterling and I just sat and talked about, he had this like idea for an improv comedy, and he was working on it and workshopping it, and people were meeting, but he kind of felt like it needed something else. So that something else was a skill set that I developed doing, writing for various people, Kevin Hart, Bill Cosby. I worked on the early episodes of the Chris Rock Show, and I got it. And our collaboration evolved into this project, and that's why we're here today, and Sterling is having snacks. But yeah, extra work. Extra work is also great because of the free food.
Yeah, that's true. You do. You get free food. But I feel like the most valuable part of that is being on set, because you get to experience what it's like to be on set. You watch what the actors are doing. You watch what the crew is doing. It's so important to learn about all of that.
Right. And again, back to that point about, do you spend the money on expensive acting schools rather than really get hired to act? Do you spend the money on expensive schools to become a director, to become a sound person, to learn how to stream a show on Twitch? Or do you actually learn by doing? What's the best investment of your money and time? And I think that it's a personal, it's a personal decision for everyone.
Another note on that is, whenever I will work for free or for a super low budget for anything, I kind of feel like that's free class. I think of that as free class because I am learning so much. I am on set. I am in front of a camera. I'm acting. I'm reading lines. I'm working with others. So if you have people that are making a short or doing a student film, I'd suggest also getting involved in that, because then you're not paying for class, but you're on a set and you're working. You're getting yourself grounded to.
Right. And when did you become a member of SAG-AFTRA?
Oh man, I don't know. I've been out here for so long now.
Do you recall working as a non-union actor before you became a union member, joining SAG or AFTRA, because they merged in recent years?
Yeah. What was the first question?
Do you remember working non-union?
Oh, yeah. But it was different back then. Basically, the non-union jobs were, I guess they pay about the same as they do now, but there's much fewer SAG jobs. It's very frustrating because so many people are willing to work non-union and get paid very little. It's sad. I hope it will change. I'm sure it will eventually, but that's a whole nother
right, and
stream to go down.
And part of what we're trying to do with our UpStart premiere wrap party is kind of break down the behind the scenes information and thinking that goes into building a project. This is a project that was done through SAG-AFTRA, so it's a union project, even though it's low budget. And do you feel like low budget projects maybe are a little bit easier to become principals in, as opposed to like big budget, $2 million an episode shows that run on HBO and
Definitely,
ABC?
Because I think it's common for people to continue working with the same people over and over again. So, for example, Sterling and I, we worked on this, and now he has an idea for something, and I have an idea for something else, and we both like to work on those separate projects with each other. So you find people that you like to work with, and it's in the same, it's the same thing, whether it's like a low budget or a big budget. You notice the same people are continuously working together because they like to work together. I understand that. And it's common for casting directors to kind of have like their little a smaller group of people that they know, like, okay, we're calling this person in, we're calling this person in for this role because they know they're going to come in, do a good job, and sell it.
Right. Even with background work, like the people who work are the ones who show up.
Yeah.
They don't act up. They act right. They do the job. Everyone goes home happy, and no one gets a phone call that this person
was a dick.
Right. Or peed where he wasn't supposed to do it, or had sex in his car, or fell asleep. There's just so much.
Well, you just came up with a lot there.
Yes. Yeah.
You're coming up on the hour. Do you want to shut it and reintroduce yourself, or? or keep going because you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, like,
How do you wanna go? We're just
let's
gonna
finish.
keep going.
We'll call that a finish to our discussion of casting and the acting.
I'm just saying, if you want to have 30-minute moments, it's 11 now.
Right. Well, you know what? We didn't finish talking about the rest of the cast with you.
I know.
So can you sit and we'll just talk about the other cast members and then
So
we
we'll
can
just
wrap
finish
on
it
that?
going. Well, it's not going to be. I hear you, but
That's fine.
okay. Yeah.
But let's finish that discussion because, you know,
All right, let's do it.
part of what we're doing is creating a library of programming so that we can rebroadcast it, and so we'll have that discrete half hour talking about casting. So Sterling, who are the other people who can't be here at our premiere wrap party for UpStart? We talked a little bit about Mona, whether
Right.
she's from
Mona is-
Ukraine
right.
or
Mona,
Romania.
right. That's a fantastic Romanian actress, and that is Anna Pasti.
How did you meet her?
I met her at AWS. She at Actors Workout Studio.
In North
She
Hollywood.
was- yes, she was there studying and working on. She did a lot of work while she was here. I don't know, not sure where she is in the world right now.
Right.
She's a
International.
globetrotter, yes.
I got you.
International actress, star in Romania.
Is she really?
Yeah. Who
Anna
else?
Pasti.
Yeah.
ANAPASTI. If anyone at
working
home
actress,
wants to
let's say.
to Google, that's
Everyone
brilliant.
working to me is a star. So whatever that
Everyone
means to you.
everyone on UpStart is a star. So you met her as well at the Actors
AWS. yes.
AWS, and who else is
Who
not
else
here?
Are we? Let's see. You talked
We
about
talked about-
Sonny. I heard Drew.
Drew.
Hellenthal, an amazing up-and-coming young actor. He studied at UCB as well, and he also is from AWS.
Right, very handsome, very in that kind of like high school, college, and beyond, young
Right.
worker kind of.
Like the guy on Genu. I don't
Right.
Know. What do you call that when it's the guy? I don't know.
The guy on Chanel.
The leading young man or something.
Young
He's definitely-
Turk, newbie.
I don't think he's Turkish.
No, young Turk, like, you know, just somebody who's really trying to
Better.
make his mark in the work world, because in the world of the story,
Right.
his parents
Who
won't pay
else,
for film school.
Well, that's it, right? Great.
Izzy.
Talked about.
Izzy, who plays
Encore
Clayton.
Was Clayton.
Talk to us.
Amazing
How'd you
musician.
find him?
I think Izzy did a play at AWS. And
Oh.
that's where I
Oh, did he
saw
really?
him. Yeah, I saw him working on, I think it was something from Fences. I'm not sure about that exactly, but I thought he was amazing. We connected, and I invited him to be a part of this.
Right.
He has great instincts. Really talented, not only actor, but singer as well.
Yeah. I think
Pardon.
that Clayton, the character, has ambitions to be a P. Diddy, an usher, a kind of like mogul music producer as well as an artist,
Right.
and really wants his work as part of the upstart media empire to kind of put him on that trajectory.
Right, absolutely.
Was it important? Like, would you call Upstart a black show? And was it
No.
important to cast black people in it?
Look, I'm a black man, so everything I do, everything I write is a black show. I'm based off of that because everything I'm creating is my experience, right, as a
Right.
black man. Now, so I don't know. I see where you're going as a black show. No, I don't write black shows. I love multicultural shows, but no, this isn't a black show. This is a show with black people in it and white people in it, and
And Latino,
Mexican,
right.
Yeah, I mean, or whatever, Latino, Hispanic, whatever the.
I mean, truth be told,
Politically correct
when
word is to-
when I met Sterling on the set of Tina Fey's
God, I keep
pilot
forgetting those people.
with
Yeah.
Busy Phillips, I thought you were Middle Eastern or a Sephardic Jewish man.
Okay.
Just because there were certain producers that were flirting with him, and I thought, oh, lo and behold, I was surprised. Talk about in casting the idea of being ethnically ambiguous.
I honestly, I can only say that you should be aware of how people perceive you. Your type, but that side of the business I don't really understand or get. As far as I'm concerned, it's my job to be the best artist/actor I can be,
Right.
and let the rest work out as it will, so to speak, right? I mean, obviously I come from the black experience. I'm a black man.
Right, an African
I'm
of the
mix.
diaspora.
I guess I'm of what do you call it, mixed cultures. I don't
Right.
believe in one race. There's only one race, the human race.
Of course.
So the black race, that's just a misnomer or whatever, that doesn't make sense.
Okay.
It's just the human race,
I hear you.
right?
And so,
Oh, sorry.
uh-oh,
Hold on.
rookie mistake.
Okay. No, I'll
Silence
be
that phone,
right with you.
sir.
What's happening?
So we've just wrapped up our
I'm gonna let
discussion of
Ben,
casting,
Okay.
and so we can cut for a
Excuse me, I'll
while.
be right back on.
Okay.
Hello?
We can cut for a while, or let's move on to discussing music. Is Robbie here?
He is right.
Yeah, if you guys just step in and we can roll that one clip where JJ talks about Mint Potion as Motown, and then we'll talk to you about composing the music.
Yeah, I'll get that interview put up and I'll call him.
Okay, fabulous. Again, we're here live for you on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, and a few other places at the UpStart premiere and wrap party. We've got some food over here. We've got some cast members floating around. And this is just a celebration of everyone's long, hard work to get this project realized. From script to screen to edit bay to our premiere party now. We did it. And, if nothing else, we can say to everyone, it's really possible to, if you love telling stories and you love media and you love, sort of characters that you create, you can do it. The tools are available and you don't need anyone's permission. And that's the beauty of streaming and the beauty of the internet and the beauty of Twitch and services like that. We're just prepping our next episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna put up that interview
Okay.
and then I'll get Rob.
Okay, fantastic.
Ready?
So our next episode is about music, and music is certainly an integral part of the story and world of UpStart. We're going to be joined by Ben Nix Bradley, as well as Robbie. What's Robbie's last name? Alt Schuler, who plays a character that may be called Rob and may be called Charlie in the show.
Yes.
I'm not sure. But we're going to talk about the music that was made in the show, as well as the music that was made for the show to score it, and some notions that we have about the way you can tell story and the way that you can integrate music into your project. Just to get a little film school for a second while we're getting everything ready. There's a notion.
It is ready.
It is ready. Okay.
Just launch it if you're ready to go.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, welcome to the music episode of the UpStart premiere wrap party. We are going to start with a clip, and this is JJ, our main character, talking about his vision for Mint Potion and where he wants to take it. Roll clip.
I want Mint Potion. I want to bring it back to its old glory, and beyond that, man. This was like black music right here, but I'm trying to, this ain't the 50s no more, man. It's 17, right? 2017, man. I just, trying to get this Instagram, trying to get this Snapchat videos. I'm trying to take over this digital media and music, So I think really the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. With a good team, passion, good people, we can do it. Hard work.
So yeah, here we are on the music episode of the UpStart premiere wrap party, and I'm just trying to make sure that my hair is big enough, to really represent what UpStart is as a project and as a commentary on life in America in 2018. We are very pleased to bring you UpStart and all its episodes today in our live block on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and a few other places. And joining me in just a second is one of the music composers, Ben Nix Bradley, who's also an executive producer of the project and a principal here at Mint Potion, as well as Robbie Altschuler, who is an actual real working music producer. And Robbie plays a character in the show either called Charlie or Robbie, and he actually does use Pro Tools. It's not a joke. It's not just acting. It's his real job. Welcome, Ben.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
So Robbie's on his way. Look, this UpStart show, it has a lot of original music.
Yes.
There's no library music. There was no licensing.
Right.
You made the music Did you make it for the show, or did you make it because you're a musician?
Both, actually. The title sequence and the song at the end were produced for the show specifically. And a couple of other edits to songs that I had already written were produced to go along with the flow of the scenes. So I would take existing projects and change the arrangement to line up with the video, which is one thing that we do at the studio every week. Like, that's our main thing. We write music for OKKO on Cartoon Network, as well as, you know, video games and things of that nature. And we're just always, you know, it's like a natural part of the workflow. We're really built up for streaming and producing music. It's kind of what Mid-Potion's about.
Wow. So the way that the show UpStart grew from Sterling's brain, and then I came in to help out, there is this kind of dramatic spine that's about a music studio becoming a production company, a maker of content. It sounds like there's a nice kind of parallel between the ambitions that you have for Mint Potion in the real world and what's going on with JJ the character, bringing, kind of shepherding Mint Potion into that kind of media mogul empire space. Is that a coincidence?
I don't think it is, actually. And I'm not sure how that happened necessarily, but a lot of the things that we had to overcome, a lot of the things that we struggled with building up our studio to do anything but music, that was a really long process for anybody who's been watching this channel for a long time. Has seen us grow and change and try out a bunch of different shows and throw a bunch of shows away. And initially, I think we even wanted to try and produce the show like UpStart live. And I wish I had clips ready for that. But we have actually a couple of attempts of doing the entire 20-something minute show in one shot, using like a live video switching and all that kind of thing.
I mean, that's definitely, I think, a fantasy that is never quite real on any set. You know, we hear about is it David Fincher with the 65 takes per segment of a script. You know, it would be so great if you could edit in camera and do everything one take, kind of like a play.
Yeah.
And I know that Sterling comes from a theater background, so same with Jocelyn, as well as, you know, some other cast members who kind of work out in theater. Is that kind of one shot, one take, shoot it live for a scripted show, is that realistic? Do you think so?
Yeah, I think there's actually a future there for that. But the tricky thing is, I think with anything, is planning and having backups and, you know, rehearsing, really. That's the, you know, that's the what's the word I'm looking for? I think that's the key to making something like that work. You know, you have everybody practicing like where a camera should go, and, you know, all of your blocking, and also there's like technical blocking that complements that, having sound ready to go. I mean, like a really early version of this project kind of required, or my dad requested, I guess, to produce a song every week of production. Much in the same way that we did a show called Small Window. And so the first song that was made for the show actually it's a cover, and I produced it in like 2 hours while we were shooting. And we ended up keeping it, which was cool, but like it's still like a pretty ridiculous task, right?
Right.
To make something like cohesive happen on a regular, you know, schedule, and, you know, to kind of overcome all of the fires that happen during any given project.
Now, when you say you produced a song that was a cover, is that the same song that is in the current cut of the UpStart show, or a different cover?
That is the same song that is in the current cut.
Wow.
Yeah.
So just for viewers at home, like, you will get to hear this brilliant gonzo production of a cover of a song that is in the public domain, I believe.
I doubt that very highly.
Oh.
But it's not a big deal.
But we'll get to that. That's part of is it quite the finale?
Yeah, that's the last episode.
Last episode, you're going to hear the brilliance, the what do you call it? The mixing board the studio, the booth, all those elements came together under the direction of Ben Nix-Bradley as well as Robbie Altshuler to make it happen. Original music. You don't get that.
Yeah, he might be out here in a minute. I think like during scenes where Robbie is, working in Pro Tools, like that is the same session that we used for the final song. And
amazing.
For recording everybody in the booth, like that is pretty real, actually. And the footage that we have of people singing the song at the end, that's all like part of, the actual.
That's part of the actual mix.
Yeah.
Because like for people who don't know, like you hear in songs people talk about like a 24 track, a 14 track. It's a bunch of different audio elements that you can source from in order to build a song. I know I've seen the rapper Nelly in the studio talking about like doubling and quadrupling and like layering vocals because it gives you a richer sound. Like, how does that work? Maybe we'll talk to Robbie a little bit about that as well, like how you actually build a track in the studio.
It's like a music studio gives you a lot of flexibility, especially these days with digital editing, to kind of non-destructively like build up a track from like just starting with a loop of somebody clapping and putting whatever you want an orchestra on top of that. We synthesize real instruments, right? Like horns and strings and guitars and basses, all of these things. And we can edit the performances, we can play them live, or we can kind of program them in. I mean, digital music is pretty well spread and well known, like digital music production. And, the way that that's been democratized, has really changed music compared to, like, in order to get any quality music until, like, personal computers became affordable, you needed tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of studio equipment to be able to get a reasonable recording and to manipulate tape and to be able to track and manipulate all of those things. Which, I mean, Robbie understands the history of it a bit more, but just being, like, kind of like acting, like just being able to practice and produce these things on your own will prepare you for kind of doing anything.
Wow. And I mean, just to kind of like relate it to the idea of democracy, which means that, the majority of people have access, can make work, can learn how, can execute their own projects, for whatever reason, for personal reasons, to take to market, etc. Like, what do you think are the kind of like, you were talking about the personal computer. In the UpStart episode, folks talk about how much Pro Tools costs.
Right.
How much does Pro Tools cost?
Pro Tools Ultimate, I think, is like $130,000 a month subscription or something like that. The what's called an audio interface, or the computer that digitizes an analog recording and puts that into your software, that is going to cost you between a couple $100 to a few $1,000s, depending on the number of inputs and outputs that you want to manipulate. When Robbie talks about the actual cost of all of those components that are attached to that interface, we start to bring in a lot more actually traditional outboard gear, like compressors and mixers and amplifiers for microphones and what have you.
So that's an audio interface or an analog interface?
An audio interface usually has something that's called a ADC, an analog to digital converter, right? So it takes like the signal from a microphone, right? An electric signal, and it samples it and represents that in data into discrete units.
So that's an interface with your computer. Sorry, my eye is tearing.
And then the opposite is true. If you want to hear that, right, you have something that is outputting samples, and then converting that to voltages for your speakers to amplify, or DAC.
Oh, okay. That's a lot of science.
Yeah.
I'm learning. I hope everyone at home is learning. We are 20 minutes after the hour, and it's ready to roll a clip. But here's Robbie Altshuler. Okay, let's go to the clip.
Okay.
Hey, my man. Max, right?
You got it, my man. My main
This-
man.
You're really bad at this.
Thank you.
Why do you
my
want
man.
to play?
Dexterity? Hand-eye coordination.
Did you say dexterity?
Said dexterity. Is your last name
Dexterity.
Schaefer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Went to high
How'd
school
you know
with your
that?
sister.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, she's kind of a slut.
What?
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 Your sister's a slut?
No.
Where is she here now? I'm just playing. I'm just joking.
Hey, I'm Jill.
Jill, Clayton.
Clayton, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
You suck at this game.
He does suck. Hey, how are you?
Bad, this coffee's terrible.
Where's that in Mexico?
You look like you're 12.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, it doesn't help that I played
No, I'm
the-
asking, like, where's the Ukraine? Like, is that close to, like, Guatemala?
This is where the party's at?
Went to high school.
Ow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Maybe no. You mean to do that?
Class of,
Yeah,
Baby
class of
doll.
11.
Hey, pretty boy, let me show you how a man does this.
Okay, I'm gonna.
I think they needed you in the other room.
I'm gonna go get coffee.
Hey, man. I don't want to interrupt. Way to suck. I'm just saying. Pete.
What's up? Yeah.
Yo,
Peter Thorne.
is she Mexican or what?
Latina hablas español? Yeah, some behind
Did you
you.
understand?
Is this the
Come join the party.
You guys should check out that room.
This is it.
At
Welcome.
least we thought so, but.
I'm checking something else out.
Oh my god, okay. I was like 25 minutes late. I was
You're
having
still
a panic.
25 minutes late. You still are. It's just nothing's happened since we've been here.
Yeah, just waiting.
Kind of sucks
Wait.
that we're here on time
Jill.
and then you come late and you're still here on time.
Sasha, wait. Are you guys interviewing for the job or you guys work here?
We're interviewing for the job.
Yeah, we're
Interview.
We are just like you, except this is it.
You guys are all interviewing for the producing job?
Yeah.
No, Ryder.
No, I know that.
Hey, nephew. Hey, nephew. Nephew.
Unc? He's dead.
I just got here too.
Oh yeah,
I feel like pain.
you've just got here, but I've been here for a while.
I'm a camera operator. So you're a producer.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, we're all interviewing for different jobs. I'm interviewing for director.
But no one's interviewed us yet. We're just
Yeah.
been here.
Just waiting.
We're just playing video games.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I wish I had a bacon burger and a soda.
That's disgusing.
This guy's playing games.
It's
and there was
disgusting.
another guy.
What do you
who
eat?
played games
I've
before.
been
Looks
vegan
like
for
party.
10 years.
Vegan.
I want to play games with you, baby.
Vegan.
Baby. And they talk with like baby and baby doll. Even in Ukraine, yeah, that's
Do you know you're eating like cow and pig and
It's
it's
delicious.
disgusting.
Okay, would you eat tofu and what?
I eat tofu, caviar.
Caviar.
Hey.
You can't eat caviar.
Yeah, if you're a vegan, you can't eat caviar.
Can't eat
at all.
caviar.
Yes, I can.
No, you
It's
can't.
baby fish eggs.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Yes,
it is.
is.
You can look it up.
Somebody does not know her vegan vocabulary.
Are you gonna throw up now?
$85,000 at Jared's? God damn. Who the fuck? 85 G's. What chick was this? You better be fine.
Nephew.
Yeah, man, I must be tripping balls, man. All right, JJ, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Wake up. Negro. What you talking about? Wake up. What you doing? What? Where you looking? What? I'm over here I'm on the wall. Yes, right here. Yes. How you like me now? Woo-hoo. You like it? I like it. I love it. I left you the studio because I believe in you. Mr. Almost rich, almost famous.
You were in the red, dog. Look at this shit.
Yeah, I was in the red. Yeah, I was in the red, but look at me now. I'm in the red, the white, the pink. Oh, that's right, that's me. On the real though, listen, it's important. I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you to carry on the family biz. I know you will. Bye.
Oh man, that's crazy, man. Yeah. I mean, I can do this, huh? I'm gonna do this for you, man.
Hey, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just working.
Okay. You holler at me if you want me to fry you up some chicken, Mr. Sir.
I will.
What a great clip. That was episode 103
I think it was 3.
of
I hope that
UpStart.
was 3.
We got to see a lot of our characters in action. Jocelyn, what a great, funny discussion of the morality of food for you.
Yes.
Wow, and you get picked on by Peter, Clayton, Mona, pretty much everybody in the whole gang. Max is there. How did that feel for you?
I think Jill was a little confused because the caviar, her parents like caviar. So she's been vegan for a very long time, and she had no idea that was, they eat fish eggs.
Right, an actual animal.
Yeah, so it was very disturbing to her. And I don't think she felt too ganged up on. Maybe it seemed that way, but I think she just was more disgusted with Peter's eating habits.
Right.
And then learning that about her own eating habits, that she was just...
But that's really very California to have those discussions
very.
Of vegan versus vegetarian versus pesco vegetarian.
Oh,
pescatarian, etc. Organic, non-organic. But another element in that clip that was great was the music. And Ben, I know you were saying that you composed pretty much all this music yourself in your brain with the equipment here at Mitten Potion that Robbie helps you out with.
Yeah, and also equipment like in my backpack,
In your backpack?
Yeah, people can produce music on their phones these days, and I think it's...
Good music?
Oh, sure, yeah. You know?
Not just like internet music about...
I mean, what's the difference?
The lyrics, chicken soup and soda on the side and twerk this and he's just my baby daddy. There's a lot of range in quality.
Right. I don't know. It's just I make music because I'm compelled to do so. It's one of the things that defines who I am. So that's what I do.
I see. And Robbie, why do you make music?
I enjoy it. Musicians, just seeing other people's take on certain ways to structure a song and stuff like that. There's many different reasons why I feel like record music or make music, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint the exact reason why.
So did you, Ben, grow up playing in bands? Like, what was your kind of journey to music making as your job, really?
My dad was in a band. He owned a recording studio, so I just kind of grew up in the world. And then later on, I was in a couple bands and stuff like that, and did the whole touring thing. And here I am with the studio now, and just I guess followed in the family footsteps.
Nice. Is it a good living?
It is now. It wasn't in the very beginning.
I see.
It's like anything you start by yourself. It's going to take a lot of hard work to kind of build it up to something special.
And build up a reputation.
Yes, that's especially when you're recording other people's music. It's a conversation I have with other engineers and everything, because it's very easy to blame the studio on quality of work as opposed to blaming the musician, or I don't know, even blaming the master, because there's mixes that I'll do that I think sound great, and then that band will take it to another mastering company, friend of the family, and then it comes out sounding like crap. So it took all the hard work that I did, destroys it over here. But then most of my business is always repeat, or word of mouth, or repeat business, stuff like that. So I'm always afraid of if something was out there that I didn't think sounded good.
Now, you live in Southern California. This what you dress like seems to be a really Southern California, that laid back, like you got the fitted cap and shorts. It has that kind of Vans, Dickies, like maybe there's a skateboard in your life feel. Is that any reflection on the style of music that you sound engineer?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Like, so when you were in bands, what kind of bands were you in?
I was in a metal band, punk band, kind of a like alternative band, kind of like Kings of Leon.
Interesting. So
I
more
had, like,
pop.
4 different bands, yeah.
Wow.
And each one of them actually the genre was different. So.
Like, your hair has grown back. It was very short when we were shooting UpStart. Well, it was a lot shorter, and my sense was that you were kind of a metal guy, so that resonates. But I feel like being part of this project, your engineering tastes are much broader than your own personal music making. Like, how far do you get from those genres in your work here at Mint Potion?
Well, in Mint Potion, the genre, I mean, that's kind of tough because right now most of the work that we do is like contract work for a network and then video games, stuff like that. So, but prior to that, my genre was pretty much everything from like country to like hip hop to, anything you possibly think of. The only thing I didn't really do a lot of was jazz.
I see.
I couldn't stand jazz.
Interesting. Now,
I
am
like
I
jazz? I just don't understand drumming in jazz. It's voodoo. There's no downbeat.
am I wrong? Like, a lot of the certainly the opening sequence music for UpStart, a lot of the scoring music sounds very jazz inspired to me. I might be wrong, but to hear that you're not a big jazz guy, but Ben, there's so much jazz influence.
It's more the recording part of the jazz thing because I don't know. It's
improvisational, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I went down a hole that I don't want to get out, or I should try to fast as possible.
Backpedal.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. Let's talk to Ben about Ben. Is jazz the kind of beating heart of the soundtrack to UpStart?
I think so. I focus a lot on jazz and American music in general. Hip hop's a very American invention that comes from jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Jazz is a very American invention that comes from the blues. It comes from rock and roll. It comes from that mix of
the blues comes from rock and roll.
And I'm saying it comes from the jazz comes from the blues. Jazz comes from rock and roll. Like jazz comes from this mix of Latin, and all of these kind of world influences kind of crashing into people who are trying to figure out almost like theoretical physics problems in music, and some people reject the technology about that, and some people support it. It's kind of irrelevant in my opinion because it's just like make what you can with what you have.
Right.
You're still going to, if you really want to draw, you're going to burn a stick and
draw
in the driveway.
Right.
It's I guess in the same spirit that the studio, in the show and also the studio itself is, what we had to work with to shoot a multi-camera, series or whatever to shoot a pilot. It's making that work. It's finding the swing in that ensemble of people, right?
Right.
But yeah, I grew up playing trombone in jazz bands, and I played guitar from the time I was in high school.
In California.
Yeah, in middle school.
I'm sorry. Just as an East Coast person, I find it so surprising when I hear about that kind of cultural depth to education on the West Coast. And that's just me because I'm, whatever the word is for that, judgmental about the West Coast. But that's beautiful.
That. As a West Coaster,
it's wrong,
I'm
but it's true.
About the East Coast. And my worst fear happened when I went out there. I thought that I would, I'd either really hate it or really love it. And I really loved it out there. Oops.
That's so many surprises. Okay, Sterling is encouraging us to think about the clock. I do want to talk to you, Robbie, about that actual production of the song that rounds out all of our episodes of UpStart. Was that a tough thing to do, to actually produce that track?
That was more Ben than it really was me.
Really?
Yeah.
We see your hands on on the soundboard? Is that just acting? And the actual work was Ben?
No, there was work done, but most of I gave my input, but most of the final decisions were totally up to Ben. Ben's idea, Ben's creative genius behind that one.
Interesting. I'm feeling kind of in the middle of some like ass kissing or politics.
Trust me.
Could you talk about what your role is with Mint Potion as opposed to Robbie, the sound engineer? Do you work for Ben, or is this a collaboration or a partnership? I'm feeling some information that I'm missing.
Well, I mean, just for that song, song you're talking about, that was Ben's thing. I do not work for Ben.
Right. I actually work for Robbie.
So there's a lot of collaborating that goes on. There's not like my way or the highway kind of thing.
Right.
Like that, so
we were pretty good. I think we were pretty good, like standing and respect for each other, and it's become pretty productive, and it's been a while. I mean, I've been here since the studio opened as Mint Potion.
Right.
And the founders Robbie and Jake have been here 6 years prior to that, so.
Hey Angela, thanks for tuning in.
So being part of that kind of, this new identity for this place, and a lot of the character, and bringing people in and being helpful and building something or teaching somebody or just contributing in that way, like it's been pretty big. I mean, that's basically the opportunity that created, this space that we can make this project happen in. So yeah.
Right. To take Mint Potion in real life from being more of an audio studio into the world of streaming, into the world of broadcasting on Twitch, etc., it's kind of a mirror of what is actually going on in the UpStart show. Well, maybe that's part of what, in my opinion, makes it so good. It's kind of real. So great. That's I think a really juicy. I certainly learned a lot talking to you both, because I'm kind of a ghost character. I creep through here once in a while, but I don't really know anything. Which makes me the perfect guide for you guys to learn. Okay, well, let's take a little break. I know we want to move on to some other episodes of UpStart.
Already?
Yeah.
Do it. I think Robbie's in it. I think we move right on through.
Robbie, aka Charlie. We'll listen really close to see what Robert Altschuler is actually called in this episode. There's some competing theories. So yeah, let's roll episode 4.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yo, what is this? This is nice. You got a full studio here?
Yep.
Do you know that you have like a bunch of us out here waiting for a job interview and you haven't talked to anybody?
I am quite aware of that.
You got people out here playing Zelda.
I'm aware of that
and
too.
I should be in here with you fucking making tracks, dude. You got Pro Tools?
I have Pro Tools. Are you familiar with Pro Tools?
I'm not. I've always wanted Pro Tools, but it's expensive. It's like $1,000.
Yeah, you can times that by 100, but yeah, with everything that you see around here, sure.
Dude, like, what are you doing with this beat? Can I hop on this track? You got anybody on this track? You got artists? You need artists?
Well,
can I be an artist? Please. No, it's simple. Yes or no. You don't have anybody here recording right now. You don't look like you're doing much mixing.
I'm just saying. Doing much mixing?
I just from my observation, it doesn't look like you're doing much mixing here. Hey.
What is going on?
I'm trying to make tracks and he's not trying to let me follow my dreams. You gonna destroy my dreams right here? That's what you want to do? Destroy your young brother's dreams.
I honestly thought this was a job interview. What are you doing? What is everyone doing?
I'm trying to do my job.
I'm getting in the booth, bro. Set
Apparently
me up,
he's
man.
getting in the booth. What is it that you do?
I'm a producer.
Producer.
Like film, TV, stuff like that.
Yeah. Internet?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm really interested in audio and learning how to mix and.
Are you familiar with Pro Tools?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I know how to make a track or whatever, but I don't know a lot of the technical aspects of it. But
all right,
that's cool if he's gonna sing. Like, that's awesome.
We'll see if that actually happens.
Can I see something?
All right, well,
okay.
mic pre, the mic pre's into the 192, now the 192 goes into the computer, so then we can catch it all in here.
And this is so you can sext while you work?
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Cool.
Cool.
No, I was listening. I was just joking. Okay, so let's lay down the track. Get them on the thing. Let's go.
I heard Pro Tools are mixing sounds.
Oh, what's up? Who gave you a
Mix.
caffeinated beverage?
I found a chair.
You're wild.
Yeah, I like
you?
this.
We're making a song, guys. I know, we're gonna make a song. Because this is a normal job interview, and now we're gonna...
Let's make a song.
No, this is a party.
The farthest thing from a normal
Feel free to
job
just come on
interview.
in. I'm not working or anything. It's fine.
All right, all right.
All right.
So, Sterling, do you want to talk about what happened in that episode?
What happened in that episode?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it was. Huh?
Do you want a mic? Do you want a headset, or do you want this guy, or neither nor both?
Neither right now.
Okay.
So, episode 4 is the us delving into the depths of the recording studio with Robbie as the crew of job applicants invade his space.
Right.
You know, part of the dynamic that the UpStart show reflects from real life is, you know, I think Ben's journey to take this audio studio into the world of streaming, into the world of building original content like UpStart.
Right.
And Sterling, is that, you know, sort of where you got your inspiration for making UpStart?
Hey, come on in. All right.
Who is it? Yay!
So quiet.
Yeah, come on in. Pull up a chair. Hey.
It's the character of Sasha,
Just
played
in
by...
time. You're alive.
Oh my God, it's nice to see you. Welcome,
You want some
welcome. We're
water
so
or
glad
something?
you made it. Sarah Bowie Tither. Kaplan? Sarah,
4 names? No, I have 3 names.
3 names.
Sarah to their house.
Sarah Tither Kaplan plays the character of Sasha. So we're joined here on the UpStart premiere rap party couches by our 2 blondes. We were talking before you got here about how rare it is to see multiple blondes on most shows.
I know, it's so crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
We have 2.
Well, you know, our theory was that it's an issue of kind of the coloring being distracting or hard to light for DPs. That's a theory. Is it racist? No one knows, but you know, I'm glad you're both here because you 2 actors have such strong characterizations in 2 different directions. Pardon us while we get our Janet Jackson headsets going.
Yeah, it's just like glasses.
It does feel really
That's
distracting.
Totally messy. I look like I'm wearing a helmet now.
I would say, Jocelyn, put it under your hair because then it won't feel like a headband. Because it does take volume out of your hair. We're micing here. Audio is an important part of making any television
Thank you.
show.
Okay.
I heard your question though. I don't understand where this is supposed to go.
I would say put
It
it
looks
under
like you
your
have
hair,
it.
like a kind of a headband around the back of your head.
Angela, if you're still there, does that sound much better?
Is that good? Thanks, Ben. Okay, great. So we just watched the 4th episode, which is where Sasha, as well as a few other characters who are here at Mint Potion applying for a job, they make their way into the recording studio with Robbie and kind of fuck up his day. What can you tell us about your experience of shooting that scene so many months ago?
In the recording studio, it was really fun shooting with Izzy and improvising with Izzy because we were kind of, am I allowed to curse?
Oh, absolutely.
Fucking with each other. I remember that very distinctly. Just playing around and improvising was really fun that day.
So do you really know how to use Pro Tools? Or
I do, yeah. I have a degree in music industry, so I know how to use consoles and I know how to mix like a rudimentary kind of mix I can do, but I'm not like great at it. But
So your improv was actually truthful. You
Yeah.
were talking from a place of authority about,
Yeah.
you know, the basics, because
Yeah.
that's what your character Sasha
I know that
says.
if you're sitting at a console going like this over and over again, you're probably doing something wrong. So that's what I was witnessing.
It looks very dramatic.
Yeah.
And Jocelyn, were you saying that you're actually musically trained as well, or is your focus more on acting?
I'm not musically trained. I do stuff by ear, just like sing by ear. If I work on the piano, I can figure stuff out by ear.
Nice.
If my husband will sit me down and show me some chords, I can usually like learn a quick little guitar riff and sing along to that. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice. I know that we actually saw Sarah, you played the guitar
Oh, that's
in
right.
some of your
Very
interviews. I
badly.
don't know if we have that footage up and ready to roll during our premiere party, but how long did you train as a musician before you learned how to use Pro Tools?
I grew up. I learned how to play piano, and then I learned how to play drums. And then while I was in school for music industry, I was taking too many credits and couldn't take like the supplementary guitar class, so I just taught myself like in my dorm. I'm not very good, but like I have the basic chords down. So yeah, that's it.
Amazing. Amazing.
it's really
Multi-talented, not only actors, but people with a basic to very trained music and producing background. We just watched the cast invade the music studio in preparation for, the characters were looking to work here at the music studio and help evolve it toward being a place that makes original content. What do you think of the show? Have you watched the whole thing?
Yeah, of course. I've watched every episode 400 times.
400 times.
Make sure it looks
400
good.
views.
No,
How
yeah.
does it feel to be live on Facebook and YouTube and
Intimidating.
all those places, Twitch? Intimidating.
Feels scary. Yeah, no, I love the show. I love the cast so much. Everyone was really fun. It's nice to work on a project where everyone is sort of down for the cause. I'm kind of used to working on productions where there's like a really established hierarchy and like you're not supposed to, go in a certain place, or like if you have an idea, you probably have to be like a principal cast member, or like, the DPs don't want to talk to the PAs or whatever. So I liked working on a project where everyone was contributing, and, if someone thought something was funny and they were on the crew, they could say what they thought was funny and make a suggestion, or everyone could collaborate, and that's really what I enjoyed most about this.
Awesome.
Is that a good answer? Also, I
Yeah.
don't like being live. It scares me because I feel like I come off as inarticulate.
But look, you can see yourself right there.
I know.
Hi.
I know.
Sarah's a very accomplished filmmaker in her own right.
Now, is that right? I think you did
Yeah.
actually have a premiere party for one of your projects
Yeah.
during the production of UpStart.
Yeah.
Tell us about your latest film and how the premiere went, and kind of where you are as a storyteller.
Well, Sterling came, and it was so fun because he was very supportive, and he met my dad, and that was funny. And the short film that premiered that Sterling was at was a film called Me Problems, which is still not officially publicly released, but will be soon. Right now I'm working on a feature-length project with 14 other women filmmakers, and we are making an anthology series about basically short films about like the darker side of living in Los Angeles, centered around women's stories.
Mhm.
And that's crowdfunding now, so that's very stressful. But that's the main focus.
But that's
of my life.
amazing. I know that as part of your character is kind of not militant but feminist. Definitely a stand up for herself kind of gal, and an advocate for equality.
Mhm.
Part of what you talked about in your interview was creating work that gave strong, authentic images of women in valid stories, and that to hear that you're actually doing that in real life is amazing. I mean, I worked on the project, but I didn't know that about you, and I didn't know a lot of things about you, and I'm really, it's astounding to hear, that there's such kind of convergence between the creative and the story and the real.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. So, part of what UpStart is as a project is telling the story of a family that comes together, right? There's the family that existed already at Mint Potion. My character, Taisha Johnson, is married to Unc Johnson, who unfortunately passes away. My stepson, Howie, is one of the characters in the show. And then JJ is my nephew by marriage. And I don't think...
You said that with such disdain in your voice.
I don't think much of him. So there's that family that owns the studio. Then, because JJ inherits the studio, he puts out an ad on a Craigslist-like site, and that is how the character of Jill, the character of Sasha, all the other characters, Clayton, Mona, etc., that's how they kind of find their way to the physical studio to interview for the job and get it. What in talking to you right now today, October 24th, 2018, what would you say is the feeling of family that comes across having acted in UpStart and having been part of the production?
You're asking me or Jocelyn?
I'm asking
The room?
first.
I feel like I've been
and
talking
then
a lot,
Jocelyn.
and Jocelyn is.
I've been here.
Okay.
I'm just chilling and like watching now.
You're the
and
new
I'm
kid
like,
on the block.
I'm on this. Ben, thanks for the mics. Angela, thanks for letting us know it sounds better. I'm glad you can hear us now.
Yeah, Jocelyn is an extremely talented, wonderful, perfect, amazing angel person.
Thank you.
Shout out to
She
her.
did call me a Disney princess at one time in filming. She said it in a very mean way, but I still took it as a
joke.
compliment.
So that's an example of the family aspect, I guess, that we pick on each other. I was very aggressive with everyone. I think in good taste. I hope. I think the family. Okay, what's interesting about this project is like I've worked in a lot of recording sessions and studios while bands are like making their album or like DJs or whatever, producing. And there's oftentimes, which you wouldn't think, because if you're like working on a project where there's like a lot of money involved, oftentimes there is that dynamic where it's like your whole crew, like all your friends come in and out and like engage with each other, and it's not so much like a stuffy kind of corporate process, unless I get record to see if the lyrics work.
Or we could be the next group of Spice Girls, LOL.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so
what
it's
I'm
like,
hearing.
Oh,
tell me what you want. What
you get to be like Spice Girls. You get to all be best friends and like hang out. And I like that that's accurately reflected in this project.
Right.
That it's like, obviously we intrude in a way that probably wouldn't fly in the real world. But I think the way that people become family and they're all rooting for the same cause at the end of the day is like, that's really accurate and not seen a lot of times. So I like that. Yeah.
Right. I mean, do you guys feel like part of what people come to television type programming, we're not traditional television, we're streaming, but do you come there to find a set of people on a certain level that you want to hang out with?
I think there's definitely a part of that because you want to work with people that you like. You want to work with people that are like-minded, and you don't. For me personally, I don't want to have to go on set every day and be working with people that I'm like, oh God, I got to see that person today. You know what I mean? Right. Which, like I was saying earlier, I think goes along the same lines of working with the same people continuously, because you find your group of people that you really like and you work well together, crew, cast, whatnot, and kind of sticks around everybody. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of characters in UpStart, and there are a few clips that we have been of characters kind of talking about each other. There's a clip of Queenie talking about how long she's known JJ, and there's also a clip of JJ talking about Sasha. I don't know if you've heard his character's opinion of your character. Can I just ask you to ask Ben to roll those two clips?
Absolutely. Of who?
Of Queenie talking about JJ and JJ talking about Sasha. Sorry, we're having to be a little old school to roll our clips. But it's an exciting day. I'm really excited for everyone to see all the episodes we worked so long and hard on. If you had, I guess, what's your I guess hope for the series in terms of how people experience and digest it and what comes next?
Do you want to? I'm getting shy. No,
You're so funny.
Jocelyn.
It's Jocelyn's question. I don't know. I think the hope is.
Go ahead.
Okay, no, go roll
We're
it.
going to roll a couple of clips and we'll come back to you about that.
Oh, you know, JJ.
I've known JJ since he was rocking FUBU. Man, he was such a loser. Little punk ass. They talk about the Midas touch. He had more than Madoff touch. And boy, he had a real thing with women. It was bad. Them chicken head bitches he bought in here. Oh, Lord, I think one had a hoof. And between you and me, got problems with men too, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I think JJ a little sweet, you know, and I don't mean great personality. You know how black men are with their lotions and potions and gelled hair and manicures walking around smelling like peaches. Man, if I gotta defend you in a fight, we can't hang out. You know what they say. Having your pants tighter do not make you throw the ball any better.
I like Sasha, man. Sasha kind of reminds me of me. I think she's smart. I don't think she gives a fuck. But she got her own head on her shoulders. I respect that. That's why I try. That's why I want her to be here. You know what I mean? I'm just looking at her, and I think she got the goods, and I just want her here. So I like her. I ain't saying nothing bad about Sasha. I like her.
All right.
Right.
Wow. That's so nice to hear, right?
I know.
Did you know the character of JJ liked your character
No,
so much?
I didn't know at all.
Oh
I
my
thought
gosh.
everyone hated me.
No. I mean, you
That's
know.
ridiculous.
Good drama needs, like, nice people, and it needs what you call an antagonist. Would you say that Sasha's an antagonist in UpStart?
No, I think Sasha is the anti-hero.
Oh, big word.
Anti-hero.
What is that? What is anti-hero?
Anti-hero
versus hero?
is
that
like
Deadpool?
it's like the unexpected savior of the story. Like Deadpool is a perfect example of that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anti-hero, Sasha. And what would you say?
What you were asking me before about where UpStart could lead or what my hopes are for that.
Certainly.
And my friend Deanna actually just came up on screen. Thank you for being here. And that's a great example of where it can lead. So she asked me to be in a series that she's doing for Amazon, in which I get to play a 1920s singer, which is incredible. It was so much fun to shoot. And she's an amazing writer and director as well. And these are opportunities that I wouldn't get had I not, worked with Sterling and had the experience, and I get to have the footage for my reel and just put it out there,
That's a very big deal.
Yeah.
That can be very expensive for working actors just to have, in as much as the UpStart pilot or episode is a proof of concept for the writers, it's also a proof of talent and skill and performance for actors. So that's a real home run.
Yeah, it is.
That it
So
actually paid off.
I'm going to plug it. End of January 2019. Stay on Amazon.
That's brilliant.
Is
Check it out.
she related
We'll be
to
looking out for
Gina?
that.
No.
That's another. There's a Gina Ippolito who's a writer.
unless you are, and I have no idea about that, but I don't think so.
She writes on Murphy Brown.
No,
Murphy
no,
Brown,
I
the
don't think
old
so.
The new one.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
the new one.
amazing. So, I mean, for you, Sarah, like, has UpStart had an impact on your life already? Do you appreciate it on the level of, like, you were saying the culture on set was more creative, recognized your contribution as a writer, as a participant in improv? Like, what has UpStart done for you?
I do really appreciate the opportunity to work with my friends and, have an improvised experience, I guess. Like, a lot of what I work on now is like projects that I'm not, like what I get cast in is stuff that I don't have creative control over, when I'm auditioning for stuff in like film and TV. or like commercials, I don't get to go on set and be like, here are all my ideas. Let's talk about them. So it's nice to be in a project where we kind of get to shape the, creative process and the product essentially. And getting to work with Edgar Montplaisir, who's one of my best friends in the world, was really amazing, and meeting a bunch of really cool new people. And also, because I'm a filmmaker, I make my own stuff, so it's great to be able to work with new actors that I've never met that are starting out, because then I can see what they can do and play off them, and it helps if I have an opportunity for them down the road, I can bring people in for my stuff.
Right.
So that is definitely an added value of working on UpStart, because the cast is pretty big, it's like it's an embarrassment of riches in that way.
Yeah, I mean it is a challenge for Sterling and I writing the show to kind of make everyone count. Not just have, because honestly there were more characters in the Bible and kind of planned for than actually, part of working with actors is, I hate to say it, who shows up, right? Maybe people aren't on time, but we certainly had to work around certain people weren't available to shoot with the group, certain people had to be shot alone. It definitely impacted the way that the story worked, but I think we managed to give everyone a little bit of valuable work to do to make a contribution, move the story forward. Certainly one of my friends was like, wow, I didn't hate it. I do kind of care what happens next, which as a writer is what you want to hear. Not that, this kind of standard oh, I watched it, it was nice. But they want to know what happens with a bunch of the different elements. So I think it might be time for us to roll another episode. I think we're on episode number 5. Number 5 out of 6. This is our premiere day going live on YouTube, Twitch, as well as
Facebook,
on Facebook, Twitter. We're all over the place.
We are all over the place.
You can see our live feed and our outfits that we wore for
this has animals on
Bruno.
it.
Yeah, Bruno Mars, animals. You always wear interesting stuff. I liked your shirt in the UpStart show. It says men aren't funny.
It's true.
I'm sorry, my nose is running. It's not cocaine, I swear.
She's lying.
What do you think about, I know, Los Angeles, right? Or Santa Clarita. What do you think about this news story that's come out in the last day or so about a certain comedian was saying that Louis C.K., who we know likes to do certain inappropriate things in front of women colleagues, that she allowed it. Do you know the story I'm talking about?
Oh, Sarah Silverman?
Silverman, yeah. Are you
Well,
comfortable
I can
talking
talk a
about
lot
that?
about that.
Do you know this story?
You want to show the episode first and then talk about it, or?
What do you think? Well, let's go.
I got it in the chamber, baby. I can say.
Yeah, let's talk
it's
about
okay.
Sarah Silverman and Louis C.K. in a second. Right now, let's enjoy episode number 105 of the premiere of UpStart. Roll clip, if we can.
Sterling. I love how we can see Sterling eating over there.
Losing my mind.
Hey. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Unc. It's good to see them going fucking crazy. It's good to... I'm sorry. All right.
What the fuck, man?
honestly getting away from whatever that was.
Wait, that didn't.
If it's not the war
It was
with
an
North
earthquake.
Korea.
That's not an
Then,
earthquake. I'm from LA. That's not an earthquake.
That was an earthquake.
No, it's not. I would.
That was not an earthquake.
I think it's a ghost.
I don't fucking know. I'm in here trying to follow my dreams and shit, and you guys are playing pranks with me.
No one's
Did
playing
you
a
guys-
prank on you.
We all want you to follow your dreams.
I just
you
met you, so I
guys
don't know if
hear
that's true or
me?
not. Huh?
What?
I think it's a ghost.
You think it's a ghost?
You think it's a ghost?
Wait, is it like some
There's no
Scooby-Doo
such-
shit or something? Come on.
All right.
I
such
had
thing
a
as a
friend
ghost.
that was a ghost when I was little.
All right.
Whatever.
Mr. Johnson, who owns this place, believed that there was spirits that roamed around here.
Here you
So, yeah. So what we would all do is come in here and we would be a part of a song together. It would be like an offering to the spirits to kind of calm them down.
So we're on the right track.
What?
I'm
kind of
very,
shit is
very
that?
scared to know what happens if we don't calm them down.
Good. Okay, this is too weird. I don't know what's happening.
So
think there's
recording
ghosts?
or what are we
Okay.
doing
I
then?
think let's make a song.
So somebody go make a song.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Get
Go
back in
back
there.
up the
Go by myself
Follow
in
your
here.
dreams.
She'll come with you. She's not afraid of ghosts.
Yeah.
Okay, now this could work for me. Like you guys, I see what you guys are trying to do. Throw me with the ghost with a little sexy chick.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
let's
you guys
do
know
it.
I will go, huh?
Damn.
7 minutes in the vocal booth.
That's right, James
Wait a
Brown.
My friend, well, it's their appointed duty. They keep trying to tell me all you want to do is use me. But my answer,
Through conversation, and that we're having different topics. Hi, how is that? That to me was the juiciest episode of UpStart so far. Not only did we get some, I guess, what do you call it? Natural phenomenon, an earthquake, maybe.
What is that word? I can't think of it.
What?
Deus ex machina? No.
Oh,
no, no.
force
Not that.
majeure.
Force majeure. There you
Right,
go.
that's the kind of thing in a contract
Yeah.
that you can. I think that sometimes it's a pivot of whether or not you have to pay someone. So if there is an earthquake that interrupts production in real life, maybe that's a reason, because it was out of everyone's hands, that you can get out of paying the $1 million you might owe to someone.
Yeah, and if you're a witch and you can make earthquakes, you can never have to pay anyone on your film sets.
That's exactly right. So,
Just some helpful film advice.
you
Be
know,
a witch.
I have to say, like, I personally am responsible for some of the special effects in that sequence. So thank you very much.
Wow, what do you mean you made them?
Awesome.
Really?
You know, that's what's great about smaller non-studio productions. You can actually get your hands on some things and some skills that you didn't really know that you had. So we're going to talk about the ghost. We're going to talk about the earthquake. We're going to talk about what happened in episode number 5. But before the break, we talked to you, Sarah, about this latest current events news about Sarah Silverman and what she had to say about comedian Louis C.K. and his taste for self-pleasure in public settings. What happened? Just for the viewers who don't know, and I know, Jocelyn, you've been busy. Maybe you don't know exactly what happened. What did Sarah say?
She said that Louis C.K. masturbated in front of her with her consent many times. And sometimes it was gross, and other times she was cool with it or wanted it. And I follow Rebecca Corey on Twitter, who is one of the women who came forward about Louis C.K., and she is really trying to focus her life basically on things that are unrelated to Louis C.K. and not be defined by him. Essentially, she works in pit bull rescue and is really vocal about that. So like follow her. It's at Rebecca Corey on Twitter. And so Rebecca Corey responded to Sarah Silverman and was like, basically Sarah Silverman said that because she and Louis C.K. were equals, that it was like a different thing, or, you know, wasn't so bad. And Rebecca Corey said, well, I was an equal to Louis C.K. on set when he asked to masturbate in front of me and sexually assaulted her, essentially. Not essentially, sexually assaulted her. And I think that, or like, I think that what is important about this is that when celebrities or powerful people with major platforms comment on these issues, they have a tendency, I've noticed, to undermine the cause of survivors and undermine the efforts we are making as people who are speaking out against abuses of power by aligning themselves with abusers in certain ways, or by kind of adding to a narrative that diminishes the severity of the abusers of power, especially by covering them with their friendship or saying, oh, well, he was always really nice to me, or it didn't happen to me and I love him. Because saying things like that, they aren't necessary. There's no point in saying them because they just add favor to the abuser, when what you should be saying, especially if you're someone who is in the public eye and has a major platform, is I believe the survivors and I stand with them, and end of story. And if you want to privately support your friend who's an abuser and an outed abuser of power, you have every right to do that, of course, but to publicly undermine the efforts that survivors are making to come forward about these abusers by aligning yourself with them publicly and allowing for holes to be poked in the narrative that this abuser of power is doing things that are wrong, then you are part of the problem too. Even if your intent is to just help your friend, like what Sarah Silverman did is undermine Rebecca Corey and all the women who came forward about Louis C.K. So I'm very frustrated by that. Sarah did apologize on Twitter. I followed that thread, but she has a huge platform and she has a show where she could bring survivors on and bring people who came forward on and give us the opportunity to have a platform to speak out, rather than giving even more of a platform to the abusers themselves, which they already have. They have access to journalists, to publicists, to talk shows, whatever, and we just don't have that. All we have pretty much is our own Twitter. So that's that.
I think that's brilliant commentary. Jocelyn, do you have any first reactions to hearing, what at this date Sarah Silverman decided to come out and say about Louis C.K.'s, shall we say, checkered history of behavior at work?
There are certain things I will not speak publicly about, and this is one of them.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. I definitely think that this issue, there's the sort of Me Too movement, and then there's the Time's Up protocol, whether
Right.
or not they're real, as a person working in media, whether it's in Hollywood or New York, anyone who is living in America who just sat through the whole Judge Kavanaugh confirmation process, there's a couple of dynamics that are going on that I kind of want to tease out of, Sarah, what you were talking about. One of them is the concept of caping, right? Which literally means as a friend or associate of an abuser, you put on your cape, you, as you say, cover them with your friendship, cover them with your collegial respect, and as if to rebut the valid experience of someone who's been through abuse by that person, that you're kind of trying to minimize. Oh, it wasn't so bad. But
Yeah.
This is a father. He's got 2 daughters. He coaches soccer. He's a great comedian. He's this and that. And it's a thing that happens industry to industry, whether it's politics, the Supreme Court now, comedy, etc. That's certainly one concept. But this caping is something that, women are asked to do on behalf of abusive men, that, people who went to Yale are asked to do on behalf of someone who went to school with them. It's a dynamic, it's a real thing, and I have to say it's rewarded. Just like behavior that cooperates with abuse in the workplace, it's illegal, but I can't say that it's not rewarded. I think, what we don't know are the ways in which people who cooperate, defend, turn a blind eye, how they're allowed to succeed, even when, they're aware of a crime happening in the workplace, they're aware of abuse happening in the workplace. We hear more caping, we hear more accusations than we hear from the people who stay silent. The other thing is that, we're here because we made a television show. Louis C.K. and Sarah Silverman make a bunch of television shows. They're comedians. Most of all, this whole, masturbation in public, in front of an audience, in front of a friend, if that's what it is, that dynamic is off-brand. Is that funny, Louis C.K.? is it funny to, like, sexually assault women, men, children, whomever? No, it's not funny, but we know, because we live in the world, that it's real. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to talk about it. It doesn't mean that we have to make judgments about people, but I think it's completely our choice, and it's relevant to do so because this shit is real. What was I going to say? I think that, just the taste that, whether it's people as individuals or countries aligning themselves with abusers, and I think, there's certainly a parallel to what's going on with Saudi Arabia and the murder of a journalist. People are like, oh, we shouldn't stop doing business with them. We shouldn't stop doing business with people who commit crimes or commit abuse. And it's a distasteful but real part of, living in the world and dealing with people and people who commit crimes. So thank you for speaking out on that. There's actually a lot of juicy stuff that Sarah, you said in the context of your character Sasha in an interview that we're going to get to a little bit later.
Also, I just want to clarify. Louis C.K., I guess, didn't sexually assault. He sexually harassed Rebecca Corey. That doesn't mean that it wasn't traumatic. It was traumatic for her. She's spoken very publicly about it. It doesn't mean it's any less terrible what he did. I just want to clarify it. Like, I misspoke, but
right. I mean,
it's still a wrongdoing. Like,
absolutely wrong. And I mean, adults. People have sexual feelings, sexual identity. The point is to, in the workplace with someone's employment on the line, once you are making a scenario that is sexual, whether it's verbal, whether it's a display of genitals, whether it's, actually pleasuring yourself sexually, being obscene in any way, and it's meant as an intimidation, as a bullying tactic, as a requirement of employment, which it should not be. That is what makes it illegal.
I think the biggest problem is that men use it as a way to say, well, I am giving you this opportunity, or I give you access to these opportunities, so you owe me this, or they feel entitled to it because of that. And even if they don't explicitly demand that you perform a sexual act with them, or, whatever it may be, that can be implicit and still just as damaging and coercive and, frankly, abusive. It's an abuse of power in every instance, across all industry, everywhere. That needs to stop. There's no amount of abuse of power that is okay or acceptable. Women and people in general should not have to put up with that in the workplace in any amount. And it under the guise of paying dues is how it's normally labeled, and that just needs to end because people are being traumatized irreparably and leaving industries they shouldn't have to leave because of it. So
yeah, absolutely. I echo all of those thoughts, and I want to applaud you. I want to say that I'm really proud to work with you and that you're so outspoken. It's super amazing and honest and real and timely and important. Just so that these dynamics are brought to light and we think about them. And I certainly work on set and I hear people, not just men, because the perpetrators are not just men. I mean, we have a lot of people who perpetrate sexual harassment against children, against, young boys, against people of a different sexual orientation. At the end of the day, anytime you're bullying somebody at work to make them do something that's outside the scope of their job, that is sexual, that is based on their identity, all of that is harassment, all of that is illegal. This shit is old. It needs to be deaded and, that's that. But, we still are, dealing with a world in which this stuff is making headlines because it is not infrequent. It is not, happening to a handful of people. It's rampant. And I always think to myself when I hear about Harvey Weinstein and, dealing with people that I've dealt with at work, that you have a certain fraction of people who will talk about having suffered from the abuse or the harassment or having lost a job or an opportunity, but you have, I would say, maybe an equal or greater number of people who went along with it, who cooperated with it,
enablers.
Who thought it was cool for Louis C.K. to masturbate, who enablers but also beneficiaries, who get jobs, keep jobs, only get jobs, not based on talent, not based on anything except their willingness to go along with the sexual abuse and to profit from it.
Yeah.
So, again, UpStart, workplace comedy, we certainly have no shortage of, shall we say, racy comments from one character to the other. I think that all of that is a real portrayal. I am ready to be criticized for how much of that, kind of body talk. I think the character of Peter Thornhill, the writer, the actor can't be with us today, but he's, making just remarks walking by Mona's character in the kitchen, calling her baby and baby doll.
Yeah, I called him out for that because I didn't think that was like in character. I thought he was really doing that. So I was like, what? Yeah.
Right, which is
so I don't
possible.
know, but yeah.
I do know Peter outside of here, Sunny. So, yeah.
I mean, but in the world of the show, that might be. I think that Peter's character is an inappropriate fella. If you
yeah, totally.
If you really pay attention, he also calls Max pretty boy. So what's innovative about his character? He's not just being a little leering, shall we say, toward a woman character. He's also being that way to an attractive young man, which is also real in Hollywood. So, over the long term, as these characters might interact and work together, is it going to be a lawsuit where my character, the lawyer, steps in? That would be a lever that I could use to get JJ the fuck out of this company, because he's either tolerating sexual harassment or he and Peter should both be sued and gone, because we certainly have seen that happen to, famous people in the media industry, Les Moonves, etc. There are, choices that people make in their character, how their character behaves toward other people, whether they're being competitive or trying to intimidate other people from going for a job that might be available, or they're just being sloppy and acting like they're not at work because it's a casual environment. I think all of those things are elements of the way that UpStart, among all the characters, kind of played out. And I think I'm certainly glad that we're talking about that. And I don't think it's a personal criticism of the actor, but it is, I think, a fair discussion of his choices.
I'm sorry.
Here comes Sterling.
You're not going to talk about what the guy's choices were as an actor. Everyone that was in this, it was an improv. And he had a specific character to play. And he and I talked about it.
And like I said, I know Sunny very well. I spoke to him on my way over here.
Please don't make it about anything about Sunny. He was playing a character, and that's
Right.
as far as it goes.
No, as I said, the character was written that way, to be an equal opportunity kind of...
Right. So, just...
What is the word? Would you say that he's...
An equal opportunity user.
Peter, the character. Peter the character, not Sunny the actor, was written to be boorish.
Yes, absolutely.
Is, I think, an accurate discussion.
No, I'm just saying it felt like you were crossing a line on whether the actor knew what he was doing or not. He absolutely
I don't
did.
think
He
so.
said-
But, what I was saying was that he was...
What do you mean
the
you don't
character
think
was
he-
built...
Okay.
I don't think that's what I said, but
Oh.
the character was built to be an equal opportunity kind of boorish person.
Okay, fair enough.
But thank you for clarifying.
That's my job.
Okay, so again, to delve more into the episode that we just watched, we had all these characters, Peter, as well as Jill, as well as Sasha, Clayton, the whole gang kind of makes their way into the music studio, and then there's an event. And that event is a little bit dramatic. Could we, I guess, break down, we all just watched it. The lights go on and off, the room starts to shake. When we were kind of in that moment, and you guys as acting your characters were experiencing that, what was on your mind? Was it fear? Was it fun? Was it, I know what this is, I don't know what this is? Like, take us through that dramatic moment that we saw in the show.
Well, for Jill, she was convinced it was an earthquake. There was nothing else it could have been. It was an earthquake, and she wanted everyone to know that it was an earthquake. So she was just scared that it was an earthquake. And I think that she was happy that it was quick. Yeah, and nothing fell on her or anybody
Anyone
else.
who's spent time in California,
Exactly.
earthquakes happen. How often?
Too often.
Right? And every time it happens, the most scary part of it is that you don't know how bad it's going to be.
Right.
And when it's going to be over.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually have this, the LA earthquake pulled up in my phone, and I check it every day just to see like where the earthquakes
That's gonna
are.
make you crazy.
Oh no, I just
Don't do
I find it fascinating because they happen daily all over the place, and they're tiny.
Right.
We don't
and
feel them.
They're up in San Francisco. Or
Yeah,
out.
they're all over, and it's just, I think it's really cool. I'm fascinated by it.
I mean, that's actually very useful because it's almost like for someone living in California where there are fault lines, it's like
Right.
checking the weather. Like,
I
okay,
guess so.
it's not going to happen, but
it could happen.
It
I
could
don't know,
happen.
because there have been times where there's been like 5 or 6 little earthquakes right in the area where I
Right.
live,
And
and nothing has happened. No one's felt anything.
a
you
painting
know,
will fall off the wall.
not even that.
Oh,
Like
really?
super, super tiny. Yeah.
Nice.
Uh,
I mean, as an East Coaster, the other thing that I find jarring spending time working in California is the idea of fire.
I'm okay, thank you.
No, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like that fire, when I first saw wildfires on the news here
Right.
in California, I didn't think it was real. I was like, what? How can acres and acres just
Yeah.
burn and everyone's just going to work and acting like things are normal? I feel like on the East Coast, you know, a crane knocking down a building, just an electrical blackout, everything stops. Here, you're just like,
You're
oh,
just like,
okay,
latte,
I gotta go to work.
checking your makeup,
Yeah.
and there's a fire, and it's smoky, and you're like, oh, I gotta get
Wardrobe, get my hair done, hurry.
Let me just check Google Maps, and it's like not a thing, although it's devastating and people lose their
Yeah.
homes. But then they turn around and try to sell their home that burned to the ground. Anyway, that's
My dad, every time there's a big fire, he's like, well, LA's on fire again. Your city's burning down. Right, Dad? Every time.
every time, but it's
Yeah.
a lot. It's every year.
Yeah, it is every year. And it's scary and it's sad. And actually last year it was so close to my home that we had to leave. And I took my kids, we called it an evacuation. So we like drove out to Vegas for the week just to
Right.
get out of the
Danger zone.
the ash and everything. It ended up being really fun for us, but yeah,
And
it was
nothing
scary.
burned, which is great.
Yeah.
That's always the best outcome. But you know, in the world of the story, there was this event that played like and felt like a real earthquake. And for the character of Sasha, how did she experience that event?
Well, I know everything, so I knew that it wasn't an earthquake. I knew that it was something else. Also, because, like, I think once you've been through enough earthquakes in your life, and I would imagine Sasha has, being from LA, like, you know when it's that or it's like something crazy. Like, I've been lucky that I haven't had any experiences in my personal life that like were something that wasn't an earthquake but felt like it, you know, like I'm lucky, knock on wood, obviously. But like when an earthquake is happening, you know, there's no question. It's like, oh, Jesus. And you go on Facebook and call everyone. So
Right.
I knew that something was happening. I'm a skeptic, obviously. Sasha's a skeptic, obviously. So I probably didn't immediately assume it was, you know, a supernatural force, but I could be proven wrong. So we'll see.
So I think you bring up something really important, the whole idea of the supernatural. Like UpStart in its sort of DNA is about a family that loses a member, Unc, who is the owner of the music studio. He passes away and there's a funeral, and part of the funeral process we know is for family members to find out who gets what, who inherits what, spouses, children. In this case, a nephew inherits this studio. Did your character sort of put those pieces of the puzzle together and know that not an earthquake, something else, something supernatural, perhaps related to a recent family member's death?
No, I think I assumed it was like a prank. I just think this whole time that I'm in the recording studio, that all this is going on, I'm convinced I'm on some type of like reality show, prank show kind of thing. Because I show up for a job that has an ad on Craigslist, and then people are like playing beer pong in the waiting room for the interview, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And especially because I've worked in production, that it's like really strange. And I think I kind of have an inkling that this is just going to turn into like Ashton Kutcher's Punked or something, you know? So I think that I probably assume it's like a special effect of the studio or like, I don't know, something weird. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Something.
But it's more a gag on.
Yeah,
people
I
who
think
came
that
from
people are
Craigslist.
fucking with us. Yeah, the whole time. That's why I'm so like abrasive and aggressive with everyone because I'm like, I want someone to tell me what the hell is happening because I don't want to be murdered here. Like,
right. You're
you
a
know?
skeptic.
Yeah.
Like, Sasha is a skeptic, and I think that comes across. Now, as the episode plays out, and you know, given Robbie's explanation, like what does Robbie really tell everyone who's come as a job applicant?
What does Robbie tell everyone? He that like just hang out. I don't know.
Right.
Everybody
Well,
gets the
I
job.
think we're gonna get to that and kind of really know how the whole thing ends in the next episode of Upstart. But in your own, I guess, in your character's life, in your own life, like how do you feel about that whole supernatural thing? You know, like there's just pages and pages of people on Facebook who paranormal activity. It's movies, it's TV shows, it's people looking for La Chupacabra underwater, and it's always like a lot of sound effects and shaking cameras. And my question to you and to your character, is that real?
I don't know. I think Sasha would probably say absolutely not and want to investigate and figure out how all conspiracy theories are bullshit. But Sarah, I am really into that kind of stuff. I love being scared. I want, you know, I listen to My Favorite Murder constantly. I'm obsessed with that. I'm obsessed with like, you know, scary true crime. Like I'm obsessed with people telling me ghost stories. Like I have a couple friends who like claim to be psychic, and like I learned this about them after we had been friends for a long time. So I already like trusted them and knew they were smart and like they're otherwise functional people. So like when they told me that, I was like, wow, it's like really hard not to believe you because everything else you talk about is real. So maybe it is real. And I have a friend who grew up, she says, in a haunted house. Like,
right.
So I'm into that. I'm open to that. Let's like, it's so arrogant to me to think that you know everything about the universe. Like I personally, I'm agnostic, but to decide, oh, there's no possible way there are forces that we can't explain, that's preposterous. That's just like narcissistic, I think.
Right. Well, and I mean, humankind has struggled for centuries to understand how we come into the world, how we leave the world, and what happens in between. Either before we're here, after we're here, does our consciousness exist before, during, and after our alive part? And is there a heaven, is there a hell, etc.? I mean, I think these are issues that are much larger than we can kind of come to a real answer on these couches and director's chair. But, you know, I think that it gives us really fun fodder for episodes of UpStart, and I think it's a good conversation starter for people to kind of, you know, you see the interplay of characters like Mona's that believe in ghosts and characters like yours that have skepticism and feel like it's possible that other things are at play. Pranks, evil doing, fucking with, etc.
Yeah.
You know, but Halloween is coming. And I think it's amazing for us to be premiering UpStart right before Halloween to kind of get people thinking along these lines, like, you know, death, the afterlife, ghosts, haunting, spirits of people and entities that might have been in this sort of physical space on this real estate before the studio was built here. Like, is there nothing? Is there no residue of who and what came before? Or, you know, could this have been a Native American reservation? Could this have been a gold mine, a mine where maybe people were trapped or something, you know, like something unexpected where their spirit or some energy, you know? I think that one of the characters, I believe Jocelyn, as Jill, talked about, she doesn't necessarily believe in formal religion, but she definitely believes in energy and spirituality. And I think we might have a clip of, is it her talking about it? I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on in our control room, but this is definitely a juicy discussion. Ghost spirituality, Halloween is coming. I don't know quite how to communicate with the control room. Oh, hi. I'm sorry. I just feel like maybe people are talking about other stuff. Could you do me a favor and just roll the clip of Queenie talking about being spiritual, not religious? Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Awesome.
Thanks, Ben.
As we
I'm going to say thanks, Ben,
live.
until it happens. Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Ben.
I am spiritual, but not religious. I believe there's something greater. I mean, you can always feel it if you're open to it. Sometimes when I sit by myself, I kind of feel unk. I know he's still here. Of course, if I tell anybody that, they're going to think I'm crazy. And that's the bigger thing that human beings can't understand.
Hi. So
We're all zoning
that
out.
was Candy Ford in her character of Queenie talking about spirituality and religion and what she believes. And like for you, Jocelyn, what are your thoughts on that as we approach Halloween?
Me personally or Jill?
Either both. Yeah.
Well, I think you guys got a sense of Jill from her interview. For me, I do believe in something that's bigger than me, but I have no idea what it could possibly be. I have no word for it. It's just a sense and a feeling, and when I'm with it and I'm rolling with it, life is good, and when I'm rolling against it, life sucks ass.
It's called the flow.
Exactly. I go with the flow, which is like similar to Jill in a sense, but yeah, not too much actually. Anyway, so yeah, as far as Halloween coming up, I love Halloween. This is the first year actually I don't have my costume planned out, and
Oh my God, please be Stevie Nicks.
you're gonna be Stevie Nicks?
No, you have to. You're like designed for it.
I'm like really good at throwing shit together at the last minute. Like last year, I was a flapper, and it was fantastic.
That's cute.
Because I have like little things around my house. The year
Right.
Before that, I was a zombie queen, so I had like this old prom dress that
That
I
sounds
had
dope.
And did like fantastic makeup. If you want to look it up, 2 years ago.
Is
like,
this
I
on
posted.
Instagram? How can we see
It's on-
this?
yeah, it's on Facebook, I think.
Facebook. Fabulous.
So anyway, I'll probably like throw something together. My kids are all set. We've got a huge dinosaur and a fireman and a unicorn
wow.
this year happening.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, I'm
All right.
excited. Trick or treating.
Bravo. Well, you know, thank you for coming out,
My
making the
pleasure.
trek up here to beautiful Santa Clarita and Valencia as we have our UpStart premiere rap party. It
Yeah.
was great to kind of vibe with you and kind of get part of the gang back together as we all enjoy the show.
Definitely. We'll keep enjoying it. Watch it later as it airs again. And I'm happy to be a part of UpStart. Bye from Jocelyn. Bye
All
from
right.
Jill. I'll see you later. Miss you guys.
Bravo.
Bye,
Nice to see you
Jocelyn.
too. Happy
You're amazing.
travels.
Have a good day.
All right, so I think we have one last episode to share with you of
Scary.
UpStart.
Oh
right?
no,
That's
what's
gonna
going to
be
happen?
the finale. That'll be the end. That'll be like what happens at the end of the story that we have told about these characters coming together to transform this music studio into a media empire that streams original content.
Yes.
And then everyone cries and is sad.
Right, maybe. But stay tuned so you can see Ben in the control room if we could roll episode 106. I think there's no reason to delay.
You can't fuck a ghost, dude.
How do you know for sure?
Yeah, haven't you seen Ghostbusters? That happens in that. Have you heard of Incubus and Succubus? I mean, I'll take either one.
Ghostbusters is not a documentary.
You guys believe in so many things. Like vegan.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, technically, she's not vegan.
I am vegan, and vegan has
Happy hour is
nothing
not
to do
vegan.
with having an imaginary ghost friend.
I'm just.
All right. Hey, everybody, I'm JJ. I'm the CEO of the Shindig. I'm Donald Trump. I'm the HNIC here, man. And first of all, I'm sorry. I apologize that I'm not here with you guys, but I have some great news. Everybody's hired. Everybody's hired.
Thank you.
We got a great salary, $50,000 a year. But we got a lot of work to do, man. We're transitioning from like a regular audio studio to a lot of visual work, a lot of media coordination that we got going on. We're doing cooking shows, twerk shows, everything, man. I'm talking about grandma show. Look, anything that's gonna make some bread, we're doing it. And I'm glad you guys are on board. I'm expecting everybody to be here Monday morning, 8 o'clock sharp, ready to work. All right? Welcome. See y'all Monday.
Can you wait a second?
Peace and love.
I have a few. Can I talk to you here? Because I have a few questions. I just was wondering if this is in writing or if there's like a formal contract before we agree to this. And also, I'd love to negotiate the salary. This is not the salary.
Oh my God, you're so ungrateful. $50,000?
Whatever. Where are you? I need to talk to a human.
Was that the ghost friend? What?
Goodbye.
Hey, Sasha, come on. Hey, what's the problem?
People stand here, I'm playing video games, drinking beer, and then I go in there and then we're making a song, and then there's maybe a ghost. I don't know, this doesn't seem like a real thing. And I've been screwed around before, okay? I may look young, but I've been around the block, and I'm not gonna put up with this shit anymore. I'm too old for it. Okay, I'm just supposed to trust a man who's wearing a tank top and like pants with definitely no underwear.
I got underwear.
Holding a door? No, I can see your entire dick. Let me go, please. Do not hold the door. Let me out. I am a grown woman. I am allowed to leave if I want. You cannot hold me hostage.
I'm not holding you hostage.
You're holding. Okay.
I have a meeting with you.
I don't know. My hair hurts. I need to go.
You're free to leave. I'm just trying to have some open dialogue, some compromise. I like the stuff that you do, but we have to work together if we're going to do this. I'd like for you to be on board. But like I said, I mean, I can't keep you. This is my shit, you know, this is my company, and this is how it's going to go. But I would like for you to be here. That's all I'm saying. You're free to go. I'm not holding the door anymore. It's all you.
Do you have any shirts with sleeves on them?
Yes.
You should be able to pick.
Hi, this is our UpStart premiere rap party. We're here with Sterling and Sarah.
I feel like, can I just say something? There's no attractive way to sit in these chairs.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at my body and it's like, this is not the normal shape of my body, but I'm just gonna,
The other issue is like it literally makes you look like you're going to explode.
Does that look good? Then like that one.
It's like a fisheye lens that makes everything look giant. Yeah. That's not cool. One of the things that comes up in UpStart is the content about race and how we've certainly seen and continue to see a lot of like drama in the political world, in the casting and movie and film world. People were surprised by the success of Crazy Rich Asians. There continues to be controversy about like casting characters that should be Japanese as not Japanese actors, etc. So, I think that there is, certainly in the comedy world, there was a long time divide between like venues where Black comedians could work and where they couldn't work. Certainly one of the first actors and comedians to break through was Dr. Bill Cosby, who we know has suffered a change in fortunes through perhaps some of his
being a rapist
activities.
Yeah. Okay,
So
we can
have,
call a spade there.
Exactly. Maybe spade is an exciting
Call a
choice
rapist
of
a
word.
rapist. Yeah.
Right. But let's roll the clip of Candy Ford as Queenie talking about the fortunes of Dr. Cosby.
Love her. She's amazing.
Hey, Ben. Can you
Ben
roll,
is asleep.
Can
Ben
you,
is
can
truly
you roll
sleeping.
the clip of Candy talking about Bill Cosby? Thank you.
On the whole Cosby scandal, I'm a little conflicted, to be honest with you. When I first heard it, I was like, well, no shit. He's a man. Of course he did. Now I'm hearing women say that he offered them pills and they took them. Why would you do that? I'm not saying what he did was right. Of course, it's horrible and there's no excuse for it. However, he didn't even spike drinks or anything. He didn't trick the women into taking these drugs. I think there is some responsibility to that. So, yeah, a little conflicted about Cosby right now.
So, icons in 2018 are falling, but we can't say that it's based on nothing.
Yeah.
I think that the courts are very specific when they ask for witnesses and dates and incidents, and not every real incident goes through that whole process. Do you have an opinion about why the prosecution of Dr. Cosby goes all the way, and yet we keep seeing like charges dropped against Harvey Weinstein? Is there a difference in justice for one
of course.
famous man versus the other based on race?
Of course. We are, like, as a society in general, and pretty much every white person has either an explicit or implicit bias against Black people. I mean, we grow up racist. I mean, even if it's not that I, believe in my head that Black people are beneath me, there's like just an implicit societal understood learned racism that we all have, and the only way to get rid of it is to actively unlearn it, is to actively fight against it in yourself, call it out when it happens in you, be open to people telling you when you're being racist. The list goes on. And especially with Bill Cosby, it's like, yes, it's great that this rapist was brought to justice. That's important. We need that. But we also need that to happen to white people, the white rapists that we have, the white abusers. And it's not happening. And I think that there is the bias there and there is the double standard there. It doesn't mean that Bill Cosby shouldn't have been prosecuted. It just means that the white people need to be prosecuted also, and not given leniency just because they're white and just because they're rich and just because they're powerful.
Right. That's very powerful commentary. Ben, in the control room, can you roll a clip of Queenie talking about whether we live in a post-racial society?
Do I believe we live in a post-racial world? Total fantasy. That whole saying, if you don't look at the past, you're doomed to repeat it. Well, we're living in a country that denies all of its atrocities, and if you deny it happened, how can you correct it? So, until white men give up being top of the food chain like they have been for hundreds and hundreds of years, no, we do not live in a post-racial society.
Wow. Candy certainly had some very powerful opinions about that idea of the post-racial society, where it shouldn't matter if Dr. Cosby or Harvey Weinstein or, the agent that grabbed Terry Cruz's genitals, it wouldn't matter whether they're white, black, or other, but it does seem to matter in terms of who ends up in court and in jail.
Yeah.
We have some of your earlier interviews. I believe, Sarah, that you are in character as Sasha. Could we see the clip of Sasha talking about white privilege? You'll get to...
White privilege is something that all white people have because we are born into this birth lottery of being the race of the oppressors, and our societies have been built to allow that perception to continue, that we are the elite, that we are the better race. And obviously I think that is I know that is untrue, that all humans are equal. However, as white people, because that conditioning is in the back of our minds, even the most liberal and progressive of us have that in our minds, because it's just in the fabric of society now, and we need to consciously work to change that. And it's our responsibility. And if you are a white person and you think, oh, I don't have white privilege, I'm, kumbaya, I'm above it, I don't even see color, like, you're being the most problematic, because you're the person who should be initiating that change and owning that and working to stop that and see in every interaction in your life. If you are in line for a Starbucks and you get annoyed at a person of color who's taking too long, like, think in your mind, why are you getting annoyed at this person in particular? Is it because you feel like entitled to be in front of them because of the color of your skin? Oftentimes I think you do. And it's in mundane little examples like this, like subtle racism is just as bad as blatant racism, and just as prevalent. And just because you're not standing in front of a Walmart, saying the N-word to every passing person of color, or calling, people a terrorist just because they look slightly tan. I mean, you still probably have racism in you if you're white, and we need to acknowledge that. And even if it's painful, and even if it makes us embarrassed and ashamed, I mean, I don't care. Slavery's our fault, so we need to own that.
Oh my God. Good.
Sterling brought a delightful crudité plate for our UpStart premiere party. Now, Sarah, you were talking about, just the way that white privilege plays out. It's almost like indoctrination. Like, you're not even conscious of it. You're going to tell us about something that happened in the post office.
Yeah, I see subtle racism constantly, obviously being in LA, and just seeing the disparity of people who profess to be woke and whatever online, and then just awful assholes in real life. But I was in the post office the other day, and this guy who clearly was wealthy because he was just dressed really well and in designer fancy clothes, this white guy is screaming at this woman working at the post office, truly so loud that everyone in the post office could hear the whole conversation. And he's telling this woman, oh, I've worked with the post office, I know this is a protocol, blah, 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 and telling her how to do her job, treating her as if, just saying things I know better than you, you should know this. He was saying that there's an international database of some kind of post office thing, and she was we don't have that, that's not real. whatever. And he's like, I'm sending a package to Sweden. I need blah, blah, blah. And just treating her horribly and then just like full on insulting her.
Right.
Intelligence, saying like, you need to get educated, whatever. And this woman was Latina and she was just being so amazing, like not reacting, just like, you know, trying to diffuse the tension, trying to not make a scene. And no one was saying anything until finally, like, a couple other women and I spoke up and like got in the guy's face and were like, you can't talk to her like that. You need to get out of here. Like, you're being abusive, you know? And then he turns around as we're intervening and he looks at me and he goes, oh, maybe you should go to the gym or like spend some time at the gym and like work out, as if he was like insulting me for being like overweight. And I'm like, no, I mean, not to boast, but like, I don't have that issue right now. Like, I'm fit. And so he was just, you know, going after, he was being racist. He was being misogynistic, totally unabashedly. Like, just he, in a place where like you would think if he had been a black man acting like that, he would have been arrested.
Right.
You know, like in a post office, like it was just insane. Anyway.
It is insane. And it's so funny to kind of hear a discussion of how those places that men go when they want to attack women, where, you know, maybe a white man goes in order to dominate a woman, especially a woman of color. And, you know, I feel like the post office is such a triggering environment. Like, people are, the second they have to wait more than like a minute, it's like, oh, the rage of the ages. And people are ready to act out because it is a person of color space. It tends to be gendered differently. It's not like they are in, you know, a mechanic's garage where it's mostly men who know what's wrong with your car and they have the power to bill you. There's such powerlessness in the staff, and it's a perception of, oh, I can just let it all hang out.
Yeah.
And just bully and act out. You know, it's like being in traffic, and like, you know, people, I think, if you're ethnically ambiguous, they struggle to find the right slur.
Yeah.
Asshole and bitch are not good enough, so they're trying to look at me and be like, you.
Yeah.
What are you?
You should just give it to him. Just be like, it's this.
To, you know, and you're just like, well, am I Moroccan? Am I Dominican? What am I? And they're frustrated because they can't nail it. Mm-hmm. That's really very interesting. Okay, Ben in the control room. Let's go to another really interesting clip. Sarah Asasha talking about, you know, there's a term that black bloggers use, white people. It's WYPIPO. It's kind of a way to say white people without spelling it all out. Let's roll that clip.
Like, our main problem is that we're just like so repressed and sexually frustrated and like confused and in denial that like we take it out on other people, and obviously that's problematic and we need to stop doing that. And like, I think it starts with like not being as repressed. Like, I don't believe in heterosexuality. I think that all people are on the Kinsey scale at some point, and I think most pure racist, you know, white supremacist, fascist fuckwads are just like these closeted men who just they need to like date their moms, or like they need to get laid. Like, that truly, I think that's the root of the problem, you know. And I know it sounds Freudian and like hoo-ha voodoo, but it's like, no, I really think like if they were getting the love that they really needed and they had the emotional stimulation as well as the sexual stimulation, like they would learn to open themselves up and be more loving. But instead they're just like holding on to this ball of like, I'm racist and I love white people and white people are the best. And it's like, you just want someone to jack you off. Like, just go into a field and let someone jack you off, and I think you will feel better and you'll be fine. And if you want a blowjob, like, be a better person. You know, just like be nicer and you'll be fine.
Okay, could we get some emphatic no's, like the gestures you would make if you were disagreeing with the questions that Sterling's prompting you with? Like, are you racist? No, I'm not racist. Like, hold on. Like, that kind of stuff. Hold on. No. Yet. I don't agree. Don't be crazy. Don't talk that way. I don't want to hear it. Those gestures. Just give us like 5 or 10 of those.
Okay.
I don't believe. I hate Trump. No way. Okay. Not. Never.
Ready?
Yes.
I fucking hate Trump. I truly cannot fucking stand him. He is a fascist dictator, and he should literally go fuck off and eat an entire bag of herpes-ridden dicks and then choke on them, and then his fucking wife should just like crumble into a ball of like hell spewage and suffocate him by like encapsulating him in like this like I don't know hellish like amorphous blob, and then he should just float down a river into eternity. Like I fucking hate him so much, and I don't know how else to say no with my hands, but these are some ways.
Great. Can you put your hands in your lap like you're trying to be a good little interviewee and you're being like, just give us a few seconds of that. Like, maybe you're nervous, you're drumming a thumb, but like, you know, good girl, sitting in church, give us those hands. Like, I'm a good employee, I'm a nice producer, I have no ulterior motives. I got this manicure so that I can be more femme and you'll give me this job.
So.
That's great. Nervous. But you're an authority figure. So give us Hillary Clinton hands. You know, meet the press hands. Give us meet the press. You're official, you're in charge, you know the business. Great. And now the last thing I'll ask you for, if you're comfortable with it, you were talking us through your porno. Give us some sex gestures. If you're explaining to someone how lovemaking, or you were talking about blowjob in the field, like what would be those hands gestures? As you're talking about, well, my ideal porno would be, you know, everyone's equal, they're discussing their feelings, the man is pleasuring the woman.
So,
right, like would be. Oh, okay. Sorry, our clip got a little farther than we wanted it to, but that's production. That's real. So
that's real. We did it.
I think part of the point that you were making in that last clip was that people need to be real about who they are, what they're about, their sexual identity, and if they want people to help them with their sexual desires, they should be nicer people.
Yeah. I have this theory that, like, a lot more people are not strictly heterosexual than admit it at this point. I think we just need to progress as a society to allow room for kind of the in-between people, allow room for people to experiment and learn about their sexuality and figure things out rather than have to decide at a certain point. I feel like there's like this time limit for figuring out what you are, and it's like, you know, in your adolescence you sort of have to say, okay, am I gay or straight or bisexual or whatever, and then that's decided, that's it for the rest of your life. And I think that it's so much more complex than that, because, you know, I think sexuality can evolve. I think you can, you know, go your whole life thinking you're one way and then meet someone that you're like, I don't know why, but there's just this feeling I have and I like them, and they're not the person, they're not a member of the, you know, sexual orientation I thought I was attracted to. They're a different gender than I normally am attracted to, or I don't know. Like, I think we need to be more open to that and less critical of that. You
More
know,
open and more real. I mean, certainly we know that people are living sex lives that are not vanilla, and they're not necessarily truthful about it. I mean, I know in the Black community there is this whole, you know, kind of undercover sexuality, whether it's people who claim to be monogamous in their marriage contract but they're not, or they claim to be heterosexual because that's what God and the Bible say, but they're not. You know, and this isn't me projecting this on people. This is just what has been real. Like, I have a friend in Arkansas whose father was a Baptist preacher who has been bisexual, practicing bisexual within his marriage, within their church for decades. So it's real.
and they're
you're right.
cool with it, and he's like open about it.
I don't think he's open about it, but it's one of those, you have to be an insider or be participating to know, but he knows this about his grandfather, which I think is
So interesting.
It's like an interesting film or novel or blog post or
Yeah.
just something
Tweet
that's-
something,
like, just be honest. Just be honest. Just be real. That's I think in 2018 what we're all trying to say. What
Yeah.
the show UpStart is trying to say, and what's realistic. Let's see. Can we like switch gears a little bit? We're just gonna hear Sasha talking about being a feminist and a rainbow and all that stuff.
I'm very political. I am a card-carrying liberal snowflake feminist rainbow unicorn. I am queer as the day is long, and I fully support everything on the left, pretty much. So I'm very against our current fascist regime. Yeah.
I think that was it.
So that is Sasha, the character, talking about her identity. How close is Sasha?
Oh.
How close is Sasha to you?
We're on a lag.
About her identity.
That's really close to me. I think I am kind of disillusioned by some aspects of leftist politics, but I'm certainly still on that side. I'm just trying to figure out, like, I don't know. I try to stay informed and educated and, you know, just be the least ignorant I can be is like the efforts I make every day. So I think I'm still there, and trying to be more open-minded, because I think especially even me as like a leftist liberal, whatever, I am certainly guilty of being closed-minded at times because I'm so adamant in my beliefs. So yeah, like I made a friend who's really Christian the other day, and that was really rare. That's really rare for me. So yeah, I'm trying to be better. I don't know.
I mean, do you feel in this age of Trump, do you feel a tug or do you feel empathy? Like you hear all these like really pretty damning ideas about demographics, right? Like there's the whole notion of whether demographics are destiny, that as white birth rates and white birth rates go down and white death rates among an older population keep going on or up or whatever, that there will be less of a white population. That, you know, a lot of people are saying that Trump is an expression of the last chance for white supremacy to control immigration, to control laws, to stack the Supreme Court, et cetera. Do you feel like, as a white person of privilege, do you feel a tug toward any of that being like favorable for you as
White
progressive
supremacy?
as you are? Yeah.
No.
Is it enticing?
No.
Do you understand how people are kind of voting for that and supporting it as white people, as white women, et cetera?
I don't feel that no, I want, what I can understand is being afraid. I can understand being paranoid to the point that you are convinced by propaganda because that's all you have access to, and buying into a false narrative that's presented to you because that's the only resource you have access to. So I understand people who don't have the socioeconomic privilege that I have or don't have access to the educational resources that I have. I understand those people being, being at greater risk to be swayed by that kind of stuff because that's what they're surrounded by. You know, I have family who live in Arkansas, and that's what they're taught. That's their news.
No,
to them, that's literally news. And like, it's crazy that, you know, they don't have the critical thinking skills, or they don't have, they just don't have the ability to discern what is propaganda and what is like factual evidence. They've sent me articles that are like, this is literally just like, I remember one example of a photoshopped image of a like 6-month-old baby shrunk. And it's like, this is a fetus at 6 weeks. This is a fetus it's like, no, that's literally that's not even what a newborn human baby looks like.
Scientifically not accurate.
Yeah. And they say, well, this is why abortion is bad. It's like, well, you're not even showing me an image that's accurate.
Right.
So that's not what a fetus looks like.
My family is from rural Arkansas in the swamps. And
Oh,
I have
wow,
a cousin, Eudora, Arkansas,
Okay,
and
I'm from
Chico County.
Harrison.
It's the southeast. But my cousin is like in his 40s, and he asked me, what is evolution? Like dead ass. Like he wasn't kidding, because there isn't access to the newspaper as much as people have the internet. and he asked me because someone he was dating on one of those online dating sites was talking to him about it, and he really honestly didn't know. We were talking, he asked me, but it wasn't within his spirit, I will say, to go on, Google and look it up.
Yeah.
It's as if you had never heard that the world was round. It was, and I'm not saying that to diss him, because I love him and he's amazing and a really interesting person and so progressive, but if you live in a place like that, it's like being in the People's Republic of China and you can't get access to, certain internet sites. It just isn't possible. It feels like that. Once you cut it off, it's like the end of net neutrality. Once it's not available, you won't have access to it. You won't know what it's there for. It's just like this live stream on Twitch. Once it's over, in a little while, you won't have access, and then you won't know what you're missing.
Yeah.
So I think in the interest of your time, it is 10 after 1. We have time for one more clip. Ben, can we roll the clip where Sasha
I look like a weird spider.
talks about
I just look so
whether
long-limbed.
Trump is an expression of white privilege? Sorry, my nose is running.
No, I feel bad.
Still
Like,
not
I want to help
cocaine.
you. I don't know what to do.
Well, I'm a soldier. I'm getting through it. I have my outfit on. I wore my uncomfortable shoes.
Dude, I don't envy the contact problem. I probably should get contact soon, but
What?
I'm still fighting it. Like, I'm really nearsighted, and
Oh, yeah. I have the same struggle. I
need to
thought
do-
I would have to read comments from, the news feed. I don't know if Ben heard me. Hey, Ben.
Guys, want to see a cool trick?
Oh, yeah. Could you just play the
I'm showing my
clip
hidden
from
talent.
Sasha about Trump
Can you see my
and
hidden
celebrity
talent?
and white privilege? Oh, that's pretty good.
Thank you.
I wonder if I could do that.
Yes, you do. Can't
I
you?
don't think
You
I'm
can
that
play basketball, right? So there you go. I mean, it's not really hidden, but if you're working in entertainment and you can play a sport, that's a hidden talent. I say soccer is my hidden talent.
Trump is the human embodiment of white privilege. I mean, I don't think he's a human. I truly believe that Donald Trump is a lizard wearing human skin. But he is the epitome of white privilege. He's entitled, he's delusional, he believes that everything he says is right, and he is, he masturbates to his own hyperbole, and I think that we need to take him down, and we need to take a really close look at why we elected a person like that, and why our country, and why we, everyone, allowed him to be elected, because we validate that. We validate toxic masculinity. We validate white privilege. We validate elitism, and we validate anti-intelligence. We validate stupidity and bravado. And why do we do that? Because we want to feel like celebrities. We want to feel untouchable. We want to feel like we're the best. And we need to cut ourselves down to size, because otherwise Trump is going to only be the beginning.
All right, this is it. Are you comfortable working for a black man?
Am I comfortable working for a black man? Oh my God, I can't believe I'm being asked that question. Of course. I mean, what? I think the fact that we have to ask that question of
Should
a
have just
white
been like,
woman-
no.
Hey, I'm sorry. That clip rolled on a little bit far, but, I think that you made some really valid points that we're still living in October 2018 about why do people love Trump?
Mm-hmm. I think it's wanting somewhere to place the blame for the things that are happening to them. And it's very easy to do that when a figurehead like Trump is saying, here's all the reasons that it's not your fault and it's an external problem, and it's, it's the leftist media, it's fake news, it's, immigrants, blame them. Like, people want to be able to blame external forces for their own economic anxiety. And, this country has been in a really terrible financial situation not so long ago. And, a lot of industries are either collapsing or a dying breed, and people are just scared, and Trump is this like big flashy easy way out and they don't even care that he's racist and, you know, all the other words that describe him that are horrible. I mean, they don't care because they're racist too, a lot of them, and they see him as their savior, essentially.
Right. I mean, like, there are black people and black women who support Trump. And, you know, a lot of them do it on the basis of the kind of evangelical, like, he reflects, you know, my values, like, oh, I'm a Christian, I'm against abortion, I'm not in favor of transgender rights or gay marriage. You know, I have a very good friend who explains to me that the reason why he's anti-immigration and aspires to Trump and to support Trump is the idea that immigrants, whether H-1B visas, whether chain migration, whether illegal immigrants, all of that glut of extra bodies into the job market drives down wages. And that he feels, as in his case he's a white man, but I know a lot of black men feel this way, and black women, that there is somehow competition from immigrants for lower wage, lower skilled jobs, some tech jobs as well, and that if Trump is the sort of champion for closing that spigot of immigration, then that means better opportunity because there's less workers competing for same jobs. Now, I don't know if that analysis is accurate, but that's certainly something I hear. Certainly my Christian family in Arkansas and a lot of people I know who are evangelical, you know, Christian, et cetera, are pro-Trump because they feel like they can't say out loud that they support those things that their, you know, spiritual and religious ideas don't. But, you know, are women and women candidates hope for the future? Should we all be feminists?
I think we have to be, because I think that the establishment, which is old straight white men, you know, and this is going back to what you're saying, is like part of the problem of that analysis, is that it's not taking into account that the threat to our lower wage jobs is not more people being in our country, it's the 1% driving down wages and sending, you know, labor overseas and controlling all of our wealth. And I think that we need women because they just...
Can you play our last clip?
And defy that, you know?
So you're actually gonna talk about that in this next clip. You're
Oh.
gonna talk about we should all be feminists and move toward equality. I'm sorry, I didn't know if you were getting pulled away.
I think that white feminism is extremely problematic and a very real thing, and I think that any self-respecting white woman who labels herself as a feminist needs to acknowledge that she herself is problematic in the same way that white men are problematic, in the same way that anyone is problematic, and she must own that, and I must own that, and be aware of it, and always hold myself accountable, and not be fragile when it comes to accepting my own faults, and I think that feminism needs to be inclusive, and I think that it's not feminism if it's not intersectional feminism. So I think black women, white women, women of all colors, shapes, and sizes need to work together. But, you know, white women are still white people, and we need to own our history. Feminism means that you believe women are equal to men. It doesn't mean that we're a bunch of armpit hair having, man hating lesbians, even though that is pretty much what I am. We're not all like that. It's not a bad word, and I think it's really destructive to think it's a bad word, and I hope that that changes, and I hope that I can make work that changes that perception of feminism. I hope I can make female-driven content that really moves in the direction of equality for women.
So if I hired you, then what kind of show would you, if you could make any show here at Mint Potion, would you have a show in mind? What could you do? What would you make? If you could make any show, what show would you make?
If I could make any show that I wanted, it would probably...
Hey, we're living and learning here at the UpStart premiere wrap party. You know, Sarah, you are like entirely badass, whether as yourself or as Sasha.
Thank you.
You know,
So
that
are
you're one
you.
of the few people I know, I hate to say it, in California who talks so openly and thoughtfully about feminism and racism and politics and where we are, you know, but with also empathy for people who do support Donald Trump and his brand of whether it's real or fictional republicanism, white supremacy, his plans. His
I don't have
ideas.
empathy for white supremacy, but yeah, okay.
But I mean, I think what we're trying to say is like we're all here in America together.
Yeah.
And maybe it would be better if we were conscious of this stuff and were able to make better choices in support of, you know, all of us were born from a woman. If we could all agree that women are equal, that might be a good starting point, you know, even with Trump in the White House, even with whatever's going to happen in the November elections. But that's it. We did it. We saw all the episodes of UpStart. We finished it. We weren't bullshitting. We didn't let it sit and edit without coming to a cohesive plot and plan. That was the last episode, number 106. It certainly is there for you to reach out and click on, whether it's on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook.
You can just call me and I'll send it to you.
Yeah. And maybe we'll even show up and help you watch. But
Yeah,
thank
we'll
you
just
so
come
much.
over. We don't have a house, so if you
this
have
is
a
our
house,
Mint
yeah.
Potion is our house. Let us know if you want to, you know, reconvene, rewatch.
If you need friends, we'll go hiking.
That's what we'll do for you because we love our audience. We're so happy that you watched and shared in this celebration of this great project that Sterling and Ben and
Yeah,
me
Sterling.
and Sarah and all the folks that couldn't be here, Greg Edwards. We love you, Candy Ford. We love you. You guys are so awesome. Sunny Dominguez, you know, Drew Hellenthal.
Jocelyn Sands.
Shout out to Jocelyn.
Edgar.
Edgar Montplaisir. It's French. I can't say it. Who else was in it?
It's mon plaisir.
Robbie.
Robbie Altschuler, and you know, just so many wonderful people who helped shoot, do audio, edit, and we're so proud of the product. And you know, you're going to tell us. That's what makes this convergent. That's what makes it interactive. You tell us what comes next for this project. Did you?
And
learn
you're
anything?
amazing. Say, promote yourself. Yay.
Thank you. Thank you. I love the project. I just love the fact that we finished it. It's awesome. You know, and it's not always the kind of show flow and collaborativeness doesn't always pay off as well as it did with this project. So thank you all. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Ben, in the control booth on the stream, making it happen. Bravo. And have a happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Think about ghosts and the supernatural.
Oh, I'll be doing that all day.
Oh my
Yay.
God.
You were so amazing. I can't believe you.
I'm about to head to the studio right now. I'll holler at you then. All right, peace, man. Peace. Oh, girl, you ain't gotta pretend to be clean. Unc ain't here no more.
I'm pacing myself, motherfucker. What you doing around here anyway? Getting up at the crack of 11. Shouldn't you be talking to your bookie? About just getting a little bit more time.
Oh, she got so many jokes for a cleaner lady. Oh, I'm sorry, Queen. I'm all in the dirt. All in the debris. If you missed a couple spots. Look like you got some work to do, right?
I sure do.
I'm gonna go to my nice mogul office with air conditioning, and I'll see you later, all right?
Yeah, you will.
I'm from Gardena, but like the 110 side, you can't tell chicks you from Compton. My uncle died, he left me the studio, man, you know. I played linebacker in college. I made like a practice team for the Raiders. My story is just like everybody else, man. I took the little bit of money I made from football, wasn't a lot, and I just tried new businesses, man. I was selling steaks, I was selling vacuums, I was selling fidget spinners. Before these shits got big, I should have kept selling fidget spinners, man. I didn't know. Look, I love my uncle, man. And I'm just, I'm just trying to put all that energy into this. Come on in.
Who is it? Come on, Uncle. What's up, Uncle JJ?
What's going on, nephew?
Chilling.
You doing all right?
I'm doing good, man.
Doing good, man.
Thank you, man.
It's a nice shirt. I see your nipples.
Oh, okay. I see your arms.
Hey, look, man. I haven't seen you since the funeral. I'm sorry about your pop. The studio, business, all this, man. I'm sorry about it.
No. It's all good. Like I'm not tripping on it at all. You know what I mean? Like,
Good.
If I had to use a word to describe it, I would say like I was like surprised that you got it. You know what I mean? But like that's it. It was a surprise.
Is there like, is there gonna be a problem with us?
Uncle JJ.
Look, man, you my nephew. I love you.
It's not gonna be no problem, man. I'm here to help you out, man. All right. You ain't have to try to get up on these.
Look, man. I just want to make sure, man. I ain't trying to scare you nothing. But I'm glad you're here because we're doing some interviews today. And, I wanted to see if you'd be around.
Oh, interviews?
Yeah,
today.
Yeah, today, like in 30 minutes, man.
What about the old crew?
They'll be here, but we just need more people.
People for what?
Because look, we're trying to make this like, media mogul empire, man. So I need runners. I need people, grips.
Like for video stuff?
Yeah, we doing audio and stuff now, but we doing video, YouTube, Vimeo, cooking, twerk show. I'm trying to do everything, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said today?
Today, like in a half an hour.
I think that's what my mom was gonna go do that thing with. I'm gonna go see my dad. I'm gonna go check out his grave.
All right. Cool. You been doing that much?
I've been trying. Want to do this free.
When your dad is free?
Yeah,
All right.
Hey, his schedule's wide open now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's dark, man. That's dark.
But no. Next time though, I'm gonna help you, Uncle.
All right. Cool,
Trust me on that.
Cool. Well, I guess I'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Well, have fun.
All right.
Drop some nice words off.
I'll let you know if the grave shakes.
yeah. Make sure you let them know that.
Yeah.
And bring your shoes. Bring some sneakers.
Oh, I will, man. I will. You gonna play them? You gonna play those?
Yeah.
What are those, Yeezys?
I call them fleazies.
All right. They from China?
Yeah,
Cheezies?
they actually.
All right.
But bring your sneakers and I'll see you when you get back.
All right.
All right, man.
I'll
be easy,
man.
All right. Get on out of here. Motherfucker.
Hey, my man. Max, right?
You got it, my man. My main man.
You're really bad at this.
Thank you.
Why do you
my
want
man.
to play?
Dexterity. Hand-eye coordination.
Did you say dexterity?
Said dexterity. Is your last name Schaefer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Went to high
How'd
school
you know
with your
that?
sister.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, she's kind of a slut.
What?
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 Your sister's a slut?
No.
Is she here now? I'm just playing.
Hey, I'm Jill.
Jill, Clayton.
Clayton, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
You suck at this game.
He does suck. Hey, how are you?
Bad, this coffee's terrible.
Where's that in Mexico?
You look like you're 12.
Thank you. You're welcome. No, I'm asking, like, where's the Ukraine? Like, is that close to, like, Guatemala?
Is this where the party's at?
Went to high school.
Ow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Maybe no.
Baby
doll.
Hey, pretty boy, let me show you how a man does this.
Okay, I'm gonna.
I think they needed you in the other room.
I'm gonna go get coffee. Hey, man. I don't want to interrupt. Wait, it sucks. I'm just saying. Pete.
What's up? Yeah.
Yo,
Peter Thorne.
is she Mexican or what?
Latina, hablas español? You got some behind
Did you understand?
Is this the
Come join the party.
You guys should check out that room.
This is it.
At
Welcome.
least with hot smoke.
I'm checking something else out.
Oh my god, okay. I was like 25 minutes late. I was having
You're still
a panic.
25 minutes late. You still are. It's just nothing's happened since we've been here.
Yeah, just waiting.
Kind of sucks
Wait.
that we're here on time
Jill.
and then you come late and you're still here on time.
Sasha, wait. Are you guys interviewing for the job or you guys work here?
We're interviewing for the job.
Yeah, we're
Interview.
We are just like you, except this is it.
You guys are all interviewing for the producing job?
Yeah.
No, Ryder.
No, I know that.
Hey, nephew. Hey, nephew. Nephew.
Unc? He's dead.
Well, I just got here too.
Oh yeah.
I feel like pain.
You've just got here, but I've been here for a while.
I'm a camera operator. So you're a producer?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean we're all interviewed for different jobs. I'm interviewing for that.
But no one's interviewed us yet. We're just
Yeah.
been here.
Just waiting.
We're just playing video games.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I wish I had a bacon burger and a soda.
That's disgusting.
This guy's playing games.
It's
and there was
disgusting.
another guy.
What do you
who
eat?
played games
I've
before.
been
Looks
vegan
like
for
a party.
10 years.
Vegan.
I want to play games with you, baby.
Vegan.
Baby. And they talk with like baby and baby doll. Even in Ukraine,
What?
yeah, that's
Do you know
not
you're eating
happening.
like cow and pig and
It's
it's
delicious.
disgusting.
Okay, would you eat tofu and what?
I eat tofu, caviar.
Caviar.
Hey.
You can't eat caviar.
Yeah, if you're a vegan, you can't eat caviar.
Can't eat
Bill.
caviar.
Yes, I can.
No, you
It's
can't.
baby fish eggs.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Yes,
it is. You can look it up.
Somebody does not know her vegan vocabulary.
That's awkward.
Are you gonna throw up now?
$85,000 at Jared's? God damn. Who the fuck? 85 G's. What chick was this? You better be flying.
Nephew.
Yeah, man. That's some tripping balls, man. All right, JJ, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Wake up. Negro. What you talking about? Wake up. What you doing? What? Where you looking? What? I'm over. What? I'm over here. I'm on the wall. Yes, right here. Yes. How you like me now? Woo-hoo. You like it? I like it. I love it. I left you the studio because I believe in you. Mr. Almost rich, almost
man,
famous.
you were in the red, dog. Look at this shit.
Yeah, I was in the red. Yeah, I was in the red, but look at me now. I'm in the red, the white, the pink. Oh, that's right, that's me. On the real though. Listen, it's important. I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you to carry on the family biz. I know you will. Bye.
Oh, man. That's crazy, man. Yeah, I mean, I can do this, huh? I'm gonna do this for you, man.
Hey, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just working.
Okay. You holler at me if you want me to fry you up some chicken, Mr. Sir.
I will.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yo, what is this? This is nice. You got a full studio here?
Yep.
Do you know that you have like a bunch of us out here waiting for a job interview and you haven't talked to anybody?
I am quite aware of that.
You got people out here playing Zelda.
I'm aware of that
and
too.
I should be in here with you fucking making tracks, dude. You got Pro Tools?
I have Pro Tools. Are you familiar with Pro Tools?
I'm not. I've always wanted Pro Tools, but it's expensive. It's like $1,000.
Yeah, you can times that by 100, but yeah, with everything that you see around here, sure.
Dude, like, what are you doing with this beat? Can I hop on this track? You got anybody on this track? You got artists? You need artists?
Well,
can I be an artist? Please. No, it's simple. Yes or no? You don't have anybody here recording right now. You don't look like you're doing much mixing.
I'm just saying. Doing much mixing?
I just from my observation, it doesn't look like you're doing much mixing here. Hey.
What is going on?
I'm trying to make tracks and he's not trying to let me follow my dreams. You gonna destroy my dreams right here? That's what you want to do? Destroy your young brother's dreams.
I honestly thought this was a job interview. What are you doing? What is everyone doing?
I'm trying to do my job.
I'm getting in the booth, bro. Set
Apparently
me up,
he's
man.
getting in the booth. What is it that you do?
I'm a producer.
Producer.
Like film, TV, stuff like that.
Yeah. Internet?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm really interested in audio and learning how to mix and.
Are you familiar with Pro Tools?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I know how to make a track or whatever, but I don't know a lot of the technical aspects of it. But
all right,
that's cool if he's gonna sing. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll see if that actually
can I
happens.
see something?
All right, well,
Okay.
the mic pre's into the 192, and now the 192 goes into the computer, so then we can catch it all in here.
And this is so you can sext while you work?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Cool.
Cool.
No, I was listening. I was just joking. Okay, so let's lay down the track. Get him on the thing. Let's go.
I heard Pro Tools. Are we mixing sounds?
Oh, what's up? Who gave you a
Mix.
caffeinated beverage?
I found a chair.
You're wild.
Yeah, I like
you?
this.
We're making a song, guys. I know, we're gonna make a song. Because this is a normal job interview, and now we're gonna
Let's make a song.
This is the party.
The farthest thing from a normal job
Just come on
interview.
in. I'm not working or anything. It's fine.
All right, all right.
All right.
Losing my mind.
Hey. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Unc. It's good to see him going fucking crazy. It's good to. I'm sorry. All right.
What, man?
Well, it's not the...
This is a power outage, right?
I'm honestly getting away from whatever that was.
Wait, that didn't.
If it's not the war
It was
with
an
North
earthquake.
Korea,
That's not an
then,
earthquake. I'm from LA. That's not an earthquake.
That was an earthquake.
No, it's not. I would...
That was not an earthquake.
I think it's a ghost.
I don't fucking know. I'm in here trying to follow my dreams and shit, and you guys are playing pranks with me.
No one's
Did
playing
you
a
guys-
prank on you.
We all want you to follow your dreams.
I just
you
met you, so I
guys
don't know if
hear
that's true or
me?
not. Huh?
What?
I think it's a ghost.
You think it's a ghost?
You think it's a ghost?
Wait, is it like some
There's no
Scooby-Doo
such-
shit or something? Come on.
All right.
I
such
had
thing
a
as a
friend
ghost.
that was a ghost when I was little.
All right.
Whatever.
Mr. Johnson, who owns this place, believed that there was spirits that roamed around here.
Here you
So Yeah. So what we would all do is come in here and we would be a part of a song together. It would be like an offering to the spirits to kind of calm them down.
So we're on the right track.
What?
I'm very scared to know what happens if we don't calm them down.
Good. Okay, this is too weird. I don't know what's happening.
So
think there's
recording or
ghosts?
what are we
Okay.
doing then?
I think let's make a song.
So somebody go make a song.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Get
Go
back
back
in
on the
there.
road.
Go and
You'll
bum
make
myself
it.
in your
Right,
dreams.
she'll come with you. She's not afraid of ghosts.
Yeah.
Okay, now this could work for me. Like you guys, I see what you guys are trying to do. Throw me with the ghost with a little sexy chick.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
let's
you guys
do
know
it.
I will go, huh?
Damn.
7 minutes in the vocal booth.
That's right, James Brown.
My friend, well, it's their appointed duty. They keep trying to tell me all you want to do is use me. But my answer,
You can't fuck a ghost, dude.
How do you know for sure?
Yeah, haven't you seen Ghostbusters? It happens in that. Have you heard of Incubus and Succubus? I mean, I'll take either one.
Ghostbusters is not a documentary.
You guys believe in so many things. Like vegan.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, technically, she's not vegan.
I am vegan, and vegan has
Caviar is
nothing
not
to do
vegan.
with having an imaginary ghost friend. I'm just saying.
All right. Hey, everybody. I'm JJ. I'm the CEO of the Shindig. I'm Donald Trump. I'm the HNIC here, man. And first of all, I'm sorry. I apologize that I'm not here with you guys, but I have some great news. Everybody's hired. Everybody's hired.
Thank you.
We got a great salary, $50,000 a year. But we got a lot of work to do, man. We're transitioning from like a regular audio studio to a lot of visual work, a lot of media coordination that we got going on. We're doing cooking shows, twerk shows, everything, man. I'm talking about grandma show. Look, anything that's gonna make some bread, we're doing it. And I'm glad you guys are on board. I'm expecting everybody to be here Monday morning, 8 o'clock sharp, ready to work. All right? Welcome. See y'all Monday.
Can you wait a second?
Peace and love.
I have a few vows. Can I talk to you because I have a few questions. I just was wondering if this is in writing or if there's like a formal contract before we agree to this. And also, I'd love to negotiate the salary. This is not the salary.
Oh my God, you are so ungrateful. $50,000?
Whatever. Where are you? I need to talk to a human.
Was that the ghost friend?
What?
Goodbye.
Hey, oh, Sasha, come on. Hey, what's the problem?
People stand around playing video games, drinking beer, and then I go in there and then we're making a song, and then there's maybe a ghost. I don't know. This doesn't seem like a real thing. And I've been screwed around before, okay? I may look young, but I've been around the block, and I'm not gonna put up with this shit anymore. I'm too old for it. Okay, I'm just supposed to trust a man who's wearing a tank top and like pants with definitely no underwear.
I got underwear.
Holding a door. No, I can see your entire dick. Let me go, please. Do not hold the door. Let me out. I am a grown woman. I am allowed to leave if I want. You cannot hold me hostage.
I'm not holding you hostage.
You're holding.
I
Okay.
have a meeting with you.
I don't know. My hair hurts. I need to go.
You're free to leave. I'm just trying to have some open dialogue, some compromise. I like the stuff that you do, but we have to work together if we're going to do this. I'd like for you to be on board. But like I said, I mean, I can't keep you here. This is my shit, you know, this is my company, and this is how it's going to go. But I would like for you to be here. That's all I'm saying. You're free to go. I'm not holding the door anymore. It's all you.
Do you have any shirts with sleeves on them?
Yes.
I know.